says I'm connected. Am I connected?
Yeah.
So you say Christianity is a red flag. I'm curious as to what brought you to that point.
If you think that every command from God is... Well, are you using Bluetooth?
Hang on. Let me turn it off. Not anymore. I was.
Okay. So yeah, if you think that if you think that every command from God is good and righteous, and that you would always follow every command from God, that could potentially be a red flag.
Okay, I guess that's an interesting hypothesis. I have found that every single person that I've encountered with struggles like this has a deep-seated personal reason, and I guess that's what I'm looking for. Is I have a suspicion. I know a generic idea of what brought you here, and I will tell you, there's a video that I just did recently that you might actually enjoy it. It is how atheists can defend their faith against Christians, or defend their place and make Christians walk away feeling stumped. And the reason that I did that is because there are so many Christians that come at people such as yourself, and yet they're on this, from a biblical perspective, they're going to the same place. You would be surprised. 99% of American Christianity is going to spend eternity on the wrong side of God. And the reason why is because of Matthew 25. Matthew 25 says that if you're not helping the least of these, Jesus is going to reject. And so the reason I asked the question that I did is I have my suspicions that a lot of people have not shown you the love that they should have, and it's what brought you here.
Okay. Would you like to discuss any of these topics here?
That Christianity is a red flag. I think that's what made Christianity a red flag for you.
I just told you, like, if you're a person that thinks every command from God is good and righteous, then that could potentially be a red flag. Like, for example, in Numbers 31:17-18, when God commanded little young virgin girls to be captured, was that a good and righteous command?
Sorry, I'm not aware of that one.
Or like in 1 Samuel 15:3, when God commanded the little Amalekite babies be killed, was that a good and righteous command?
If you understand the complete mechanics of it, yeah.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for the crown, Justin. So yeah, so like you think that it's a good and righteous thing to kill little babies?
In general, no. But you got to remember that...
You think it's good when God does it?
I don't think he did it.
So
I think he told people to do it.
Yeah, well, God commanded King Saul. Yeah, God commanded it. God commanded King Saul and his army to go and unalive the Amalekite babies.
Okay.
So you think that's a good thing?
I think you're taking something so vastly out of context, not taking into consideration the cultures that you're dealing with.
What's the context?
When you have two opposing factions, which is what you're dealing with here. Like, for instance, you got to understand, you and I are on opposite sides of a war, and as were they back then. And so,
what's the context for killing babies?
You're raising your offspring to come and kill my belief system.
Can you show a verse that says that the Amalekites were the aggressors? Thank you, Justin.
I would have to dig through that, and there's no time for that, in a live like this.
So what you're saying is you don't know the context, but you know I'm missing context.
I know some of the missing context. I don't know how to articulate it very well. Again, my reason.
I mean, if you know that I'm missing context, it should be very easy for you to provide the context.
Well, you dismissed what I said then, because what I'm talking about is when you're in a war, it's kind of like this. This is the absolute rock bottom of it. If you're not taking ground, you're surrendering ground. And that pertains to military, it pertains to religious belief systems, and it's why that they would have done that, because ultimately that culture, whatever that culture was, would have led to an upheaval against.
You don't know that. Wouldn't it have been better? Wouldn't it have been more merciful for God to tell the soldiers to adopt the children and babies into the culture of Israel? That way they would become children of God, as opposed to having them killed?
And now you got to deal with nature versus nurture, and nature does have a significant role that nurture can't overcome.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just disagree with killing babies. I think it's always.
Oh, I do too. You got to remember, I'm on the side of anti-abortion.
You don't think it. No, you don't think it's wrong. You said it was a good thing.
No, I did not. You're twisting what I said strongly.
Okay. Is every command from God good and righteous?
I would have to say I believe it is.
Okay. Well, you think that this is a good and righteous command.
I think you're taking things out of context, and you're doing so deliberately. It's what all you livers do when you're fighting against Christianity.
You said that it's a good and righteous command to kill babies.
No, I did not. I mean, in a roundabout way with a little bit of a twist. You can take it that way.
Well, yeah. Well, let's try it again. Maybe we can clarify this. Give you a chance to clarify yourself. We can clear this up. Is everything that God commands good and righteous? Yes. When God commanded Saul go and unalive the Amalekite babies, was that a good and righteous command? Yes.
We don't know the reasons behind it, but there was.
If you don't know the reasons, then why do you think it was good?
Again, because I see this as being on two different sides of a war.
And I see this as you being a red flag, because you think it's good to kill little babies.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, because I know that you're twisting what I'm saying, and I'm not doing a very good job of articulating it.
I'm not twisting what you're saying. I asked you two questions, and you answered yes to both of them. I'm not twisting anything.
All right, so let's take it. Let's try it with a metaphor. Do you think it would have been wrong for somebody to have killed Hitler when he was a baby?
If they created Hitler knowing what he would do, then no.
Okay, well, let's just suppose for a split second that those Amalekite children, unfortunately, were comparable to that as far as the Israel nation is concerned. They were basically a type of Hitler-type mentality. You got to remember, I'm not sure who the exactly who the Amalekites are, but I do know this: anybody that is basically the Islam faith. I personally have read the part in their version of the Bible that says, if you don't believe in what we believe in, you belong put to death. And so, in my understanding, like I said, I haven't read that recently, so it's been a while. I would have to go in and explore that, but my understanding, they're part of that system, and as a direct result, yes, it is their culture, it is in their blood to want to stop Jewish and or Christianity. Of course, we're predating Christianity because there was no Christ back then, but their goal in life was the complete and total destruction of anything that opposed them.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep, that's all.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Guys, keep spamming the likes, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Click the follow button, guys. Share the live. Please follow me on YouTube if you want to watch the full live stream. My YouTube link is in the bio. I have a ton of my full live streams on my YouTube if you want to follow me over there. This is my backup account, guys. My main account is suspended until the 25th. So we are here on my backup here. Go ahead and send a guest request if you are a believer and you have over 200 followers and you got to be 18 plus, please.
On earth, everybody has consequences. If you break the law, you're gonna have a consequence. But people like him don't want to accept that. So, hey man, sorry about that.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, so yeah, going off of what the other guy was saying, I can answer that question that he couldn't clarify for you.
What was the question?
So whenever you asked them if it was okay to, if we believe, because I'm a Christian myself, but I don't really like to identify as a Christian, like as a religion. I basically like to say that I'm just a follower of Jesus Christ that believes in the Bible. So just putting that out there. But yeah, when you asked him if he believed that God's command, if he believed that God's every command was righteous, and he said yes, I also can agree with that, because whenever you were asking him if it was okay for God to order, what was it, Malachi babies to be killed?
Yep.
Yeah, so he did, but you're also leaving out why God ordered them to be killed.
Because he's immoral and he likes killing innocent babies.
No, that's not why, man.
Why did he kill innocent babies?
Okay, look, let me enlighten you in this way. All right? You when you were born a baby, you don't have the free will of, you didn't choose to be brought into this world, okay? You are the consequence of your parents' actions, okay? So your mother and your father decided to have you, and they brought you into this world. Am I right or am I wrong?
Okay.
Okay, so now that you're brought into this world, what's the first thing that they teach you when you're growing up in school? That there's rules, right? And if you break those rules, there's consequences, right?
Okay.
Okay, so God made it very clear in the Bible that anytime a law was broken, right, there was going to be a consequence, because the same thing happened when they brought the woman who...
What laws did the babies break?
What's that?
What laws did the babies break?
Okay, so...
Hello, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you got to stay in the app. If you swipe out of the app, we can't hear you.
Okay, so
what laws did the babies break?
Well, that's what I was trying to read. It's in 1 Samuel.
Yeah, I have it pulled up right here. 1 Samuel 15:3. We can't hear you.
So it's telling them that because of what the Amalekites have done to Jerusalem, God was going to punish them, right?
Yeah,
so
what
he goes,
do the babies do? That's what I keep asking you. What do the babies do?
That's what I'm saying, because you said that God is all-knowing, right? Which he is, right?
Okay.
So because God is all-knowing, even though earlier you said that we don't have free will, we really do have free will, because he knew that those Amalekite
Not
babies...
if your God is all-knowing, you don't have free will.
How do you not have free will, though?
Okay, can God ever be wrong about what he knows?
What do you mean?
Can God ever be wrong about what he knows, or is his knowledge perfect?
So his knowledge is perfect.
Okay, so if God knows you're going to turn left, can you freely choose to turn right and make God wrong?
Look, it doesn't work that way. That's why you're able to come on this live and speak freely against God.
Can you just answer the question?
I am answering your question.
Okay.
You do have free will, because
if God knows,
listen. If
God knows you're going to turn left, can you freely choose? Can you freely choose to turn right and make God wrong?
Yes, you're doing it right now.
Let me finish. If God knows that you're going to turn left, can you freely choose to turn right and make God wrong about what he knows?
Okay, now you're trying to twist it. Because
I've already established this. God's knowledge can't ever be wrong. You said that. You said God's knowledge is perfect.
Yes, and I agree with that. But right now,
so how can you turn right and make God wrong about what he knows?
There's only two paths in this world. He knew that you were going to be on this live going against Christianity and everything that God stands for.
Just state it. Like, try to track the argument here.
That's what I'm trying to do, because that's how I'm trying to prove to you that you have free will. Even though God knew that you were going to...
Explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right, even though God knows you're going to turn left.
I'm literally trying to do that. You keep interrupting me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you're on this live, right? You're basically...
Sir, how can you turn right if God knows you're going to turn left?
That's what I'm trying to get to, but you keep cutting me off.
You're not getting to it. You're just talking about me being on live.
Okay, but you're not letting me finish, because you interrupted me 3 times.
Address the turning right and turning left problem.
That's how I'm trying to address it.
Okay, go ahead.
So you were born and God knew that you were not going to accept him. But did he choose to kill you? No, you're still here, right?
Sir,
so that's how you have free will.
Explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right and make God wrong.
Because God knew that you were going to freely not follow him. and be on this live and be going against Christianity, saying that Christianity is a red flag. He knew that you were going to be doing this, right? But
which means I can't choose the opposite of that.
Yes, you can, because you're choosing.
So I can choose the opposite of God's knowledge and make God wrong.
Everybody on your live is going off of what you said about him killing the Amalekite babies, right?
You want to pivot back to that now?
No. I'm not going to pivot back to that. I'm just watching everybody's comments as I'm talking to you.
Well, sir.
So yes, you can. So yes, you can.
Respectfully, you can read the comments in the comments. So you're up here. So let's me and you talk. Don't pay attention to the comments. Okay.
Okay. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is like every day when we wake up, right? We choose what we're gonna do in the day.
If God's all knowing, if your God is all knowing, you can't freely choose things. It's an illusion.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. We're gonna take this really slow. Okay. God's knowledge is perfect. He can never be wrong. Agreed?
Right.
Okay. If God knows you're going to turn left, can you freely choose to turn right and make God wrong about what he knows?
You're not going to make him wrong.
God knows you're going to turn left, so if you were to turn right, you would make him wrong.
No, you wouldn't make him wrong because
God knows you're going to turn left.
Listen, man, God doesn't does God force you to accept him?
If can you stop pivoting away from what we're the argument?
No,
here?
I'm not, because look, you're trying to pivot away from what I'm trying to say because mine is a valid argument.
We haven't moved past the all-knowing.
Okay, listen, he's all-knowing and all-powerful, right? He's all-knowing and all-powerful.
Okay.
He already knew how the world was going to play out. He knew that Adam and Eve were going to sin before they even sinned.
Which means they have no choice to not sin because God can never be wrong about what he knows.
Bro, yes, they did.
So God can be wrong. So can God be wrong about his knowledge or not? We got to get that out of the way.
He cannot.
Okay. So that means that whatever God knows is going to happen will happen, correct?
So say that one more time.
God can never be wrong about his knowledge, correct? So whatever God knows is going to happen will happen.
Will happen, yes.
Yes, because he can't be wrong about his knowledge. His knowledge is perfect.
Right.
So if God knows you're going to turn left, you will turn left.
Okay, but all right, let me address this point.
You can't freely choose to turn right.
Let me address this point. Look at the main points that you have up here. You said all-knowing free will problem. God supports slavery. God is not merciful, right? Let me address the God is not merciful.
Okay, you want to pivot? Go ahead.
When he told Adam and Eve, you can eat from this whole garden, except do not eat from this tree of knowledge, right? Who came into the garden and deceived Eve into doing what God had already obeyed them not to do? Because listen.
Who put the snake there? Who put the snake there, knowing that Eve would be tempted?
He didn't put Satan there, because that was Satan. He didn't put him there.
So God's not the ultimate creator?
No, he created him, but he didn't put him in the garden.
So God did God know?
Nowhere in the Bible that it says that God put Satan in the garden of Eden.
Did God know that Eve was going to be tempted?
Yes, but listen to what I'm trying to tell you, because you keep cutting me off. He told him, if you eat from this tree, he said, if you eat from this tree, certainly you will die. Did he kill them?
He lied. God lied.
No. This is where people get it confused. He meant that they were going to die spiritually.
It doesn't say spiritually. You're adding that.
Okay, no, it does not say that. It doesn't say that. But
it doesn't say spiritually. Okay, you're adding that to the Bible.
But what does it say, though? I never said that it said that. It says that their eyes were open. Yes, but it said you will surely die, and then it says their eyes were open. Because that after they
and when she ate the fruit, she didn't die.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to tell you.
So God lied.
No, he didn't lie. They died spiritually because their eyes were open.
It doesn't say that.
That's what I'm saying, but you have to put two and two together.
Well, listen, we've completely pivoted away from the all-knowing free will thing.
You have
and
free
also,
will.
It's not merciful if God knows that Eve was going to fail and he still punishes her for it. That's not merciful. He created her knowing that she would fail, so she has to fail because God's knowledge can't be wrong. So God knew that Eve was going to eat from the tree. She must eat from the tree. She has to eat from the tree. So and then he punished it. This is what God did. Eve, I'm going to make you, and I'm going to put this tree in front of you, and I'm going to tell you not to eat it, and I know you're going to eat it, and then I'm going to punish you. That's not merciful.
Okay. Now that I let you talk, you're absolutely right. The way that you're saying it, a lot of people would believe that, right?
So you agree God's not merciful?
Because you're basically summarizing what happened in the Bible, but the way that you want to put it. Now let me put it to you in my perspective. Okay, yeah, let me put it to you in my perspective. He kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, right? He didn't kill them. It's not
merciful.
Okay, he kicked them out. But
he kicked them out for doing something he created them to do.
Right. Okay. But now that he kicked them out, he said, okay, now there's two paths, right? And you know that there's only two paths. Either you follow me or you don't follow me. Because if you didn't have free will, God being all powerful would force you to follow him.
You are being forced. You don't have free will. Like let me ask you this. The people that are in hell burning right now, did God, before he even created them, did he know they were going to go to hell?
Yeah, but he gave them a chance to repent.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Remember, we already said God can't ever be wrong about what he knows, right?
Right.
So God knows there's a person in hell burning right now that before he was even created, God knew he was going to go to hell. That means that this person has no choice to choose heaven. He is going to go to hell because God's God's knowledge can't be wrong.
But let me tell you this: that same person that you're talking about that's in hell burning, you didn't live their life. You don't know if somebody came to their life and said, "Hey, there's a way for you not to go to hell if you accept Jesus as your savior. You will not burn in hell." You weren't there to witness it.
It's all predetermined. If your God is all knowing, every action, every thought, every decision is predetermined.
No, it's not.
Well, you still have, like, let's get back to the very beginning of it. You failed to explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right and make God wrong about what he knows.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. I didn't grow up in a church, okay? Like other people were brought up in church, right? But whenever whenever religion or was brought up, Christianity was introduced into my life. Before that, there was other religions that were introduced into my life, because in my family, most of my family grew up Catholic.
Sir, I don't need like this life story.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get to, is that whenever I came to Jesus, I chose.
I don't need this preaching testimony.
It's not a testimony. I'm telling you how I have free will. I choose to follow him.
You don't. I've demonstrated that to you. Don't. I've demonstrated that you don't have free will.
I do have free will, because I can literally. If me and you were together in a room, right? If me and you were in a room together, and I choose to smack you, right? You're gonna retaliate. But
if God knows that you're gonna smack me, can you choose not to smack me?
Yeah.
So you can make God. So God could be wrong about what he knows.
No, God isn't wrong. He gives you free will.
So let's try this again. If God knows you're gonna smack me, can you freely choose to not smack me and make God wrong?
You're not making him wrong by choosing, bro.
So God knows you're gonna smack me, and if you don't, then God's wrong about what he knows.
No, he's not wrong.
How is he not wrong?
Because in that moment, in that split moment that I chose to not do something, he can.
You can't choose the opposite of his knowledge. You cannot choose the opposite of his knowledge.
He knows what's going to happen, right?
Yes, he knows what's going to happen. In this scenario, he knows you're going to slap me. So you can't freely choose to not slap me. You must slap me. You will slap me.
No, bro. I'm saying if I were in a room.
Explain how you cannot slap me if God knows you're going to slap me, and God can never be wrong about his knowledge.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Every day when we wake up, we have a choice, bro. It's like the law's here.
If God knows you're not going to wake up, can you wake up?
Okay, but what about the laws? You keep.
If God knows you're not going to wake up, can you choose to wake up?
No.
Okay,
no.
So God, you don't have free will. Everything is predetermined by God's knowledge.
It's not predetermined.
You have finally conceded. You finally conceded.
It's not predetermined, bro. It's like God specifically instructs us to follow the laws of Earth, right? It says that in the Bible, right? So if we don't follow them, there's a consequence.
What? What are you even preaching about now?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how we have free will.
You don't. Listen, Kev.
Listen.
Kev, if you want to make the claim that you have free will from God, then you also have to bite the bullet and say that my God is not all-knowing. That would make sense to me.
I'm never going to admit something that's not true, bro. He is all-knowing.
Okay, well, if God is all-knowing, you are not making choices. You're going on based off of God's knowledge.
So you're telling me that God controls my life?
Yes.
No, bro.
God has a plan for you, and he has a will for you.
Yeah, exactly. Just like he has a plan for you. And one day I know.
Can God's plan fail? Can God's plan fail?
I know that one day you're gonna turn to Jesus, bro, because Jesus still loves you. I don't know what
God's plan
I don't know what you went through for you to be. I don't know what you went through your childhood. I don't know what you're going through to make you want to go against.
Here's a tiny little violin until you're done crying.
I mean, I'm just saying, bro.
Are you done crying?
No, I'm not crying at all.
Okay. If God has a plan for you, can whatever God's plan for you will happen, right?
It happens only if you want it to happen, bro.
So God's plan can fail?
Let me address this another way, because you're trying to twist.
Can God's plan fail, or will God's plan for you always happen?
No, it won't always happen.
So God's plan can fail?
No, it doesn't fail. It only fails if you want it to fail.
So God can fail?
God doesn't fail you, bro.
Okay, so if God has a plan for you, will his plan always go to according to how he wants it to go?
So you're telling me that Hitler had free will?
No, because God is all knowing. You don't have free will. Nobody has free will if God's all knowing.
Bro,
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, that's what separates us between animals.
Okay, so can God has a plan for you? Whatever God's plan for you will happen, right?
Yes, it will.
Then God controls your life.
He doesn't control my life.
You just said God has a plan for you, and
He does have a plan
you can't
for me,
act outside.
like the Bible says.
Can you act outside of God's plan?
You can.
So
That's
God's
what Adam and
plan
Eve
can
did.
fail. So God's plan can fail.
It didn't fail.
If
Adam and
God's
Eve had
plan
free
doesn't
will.
go, if God's plan doesn't go the way He wants it to go, it's failing.
It's not failing, bro.
Bro, you're not being honest with yourself. You're not being genuine here.
I am being genuine.
You're not being logical. You're being completely disingenuous. You're not being logical here.
I am being logical.
You're saying that God has a plan, and that
Right.
even though things don't happen according to God's plan, that it's not God's plan failing. Even though God's plan isn't going the way He wants it to happen, He's still not failing. You're being completely disingenuous here.
He's not failing.
Okay.
That's what separates us between animals.
God has a plan for you, and if you don't act according to God's plan, you're saying that His plan still succeeded.
If you don't follow what God has planned for you, you're condemning yourself to hell.
So you can go against God's plan.
Yes, you can.
So God's plan will fail.
It doesn't fail. It only fails, like I said, if you want it to.
Okay, so you can make God's plan fail.
I'm gonna say this last thing, and then I'll leave you alone. I'm gonna say this one last thing, okay? Now that me and you are in this world, me and you did not.
You're not being logical. You just got cooked, and now you just want to preach. You're not being genuine with yourself. You're not being logical, and now you just want to preach and run away. Keep tapping the likes, guys. Please keep tapping the likes. Click the follow button, guys. We are here on my backup account. My main account is suspended right now. If you want to watch the full live stream, please go follow me on YouTube. And please follow me over there. I have a bunch of my full live streams on there. My YouTube link's in the bio. Hello? Hello, hippie? Hippie? Trying to find a guest here, guys.
Yo.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So I got one question.
Okay.
Are you a Satanist?
No.
Santanist?
I don't.
You're not?
Bruce, thank you for the $20 on Cash App. Thank you so much for the $20 on Cash App. W Bruce in the comments, guys. Thank you so much, Bruce. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. No, I'm not a Satanist. I don't believe in anything supernatural.
So you just don't have any religion?
Yeah, I'm not religious at all. Yeah.
So
would you like to talk about one of these topics here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What makes Christianity a red flag?
If you believe that every command from God was good and righteous, then I think that's a red flag.
So what has He done to make it a red flag?
Like in 1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded Saul to go and kill all the Amalekite babies. Was that a good and righteous command? If you think that was a good and righteous command, I think that you're a little bit of a red flag.
that is not it, but God is loving and caring. So
Was that a good and righteous command when God commanded the little Amalekite babies to be killed?
did God command that?
Yeah, in 1 Samuel 15:3.
Because I'm Catholic. I haven't read the Bible much.
I'll read it. I'll read it. One day Samuel said to Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people. Now listen to his message. The Lord all-powerful says, when the Israelites come out of Egypt, the Amalekites tried to stop them from going to Canaan. I saw what the Amalekites did. Now go fight against the Amalekites. You must completely destroy them, everything that belongs to them. Don't let anything live. You must unalive all the men and women and all of their children and little babies." Was that a good and righteous command from God?
Everything, let me just put this out. Everything God does is for a reason.
And
So
God's reason is always good, right?
yes, God's reason is always good.
Okay, so that's why I think you're a bit of a red flag, because you think it's a good thing to kill babies.
In that time period, so are you, I'm just going to put this out here. Are you pro-abortion or
I'm pro-choice.
pro-choice?
Yeah.
All right, I understand
I don't think
that.
anybody's pro-abortion. Nobody's out there going like, yeah, I love abortions. It's pro-choice.
Yeah, I don't believe in that either.
God's pro-choice too. God's not against abortion.
Yeah.
So was that a good... he left. Keep tapping the screen, guys. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you guys for being here. Bruce, thank you so much for the $20 on Cash App. That was awesome. I really, really appreciate you, Bruce. Thank you. Can we get W Bruce in the comments, guys? W Bruce, I really, really appreciate that, man. If you guys enjoy the content, please click the follow button. This is my backup account. My main account is suspended, so we are here on my backup account. And go follow me on YouTube too, guys. Please follow me on YouTube if you want to watch the full live stream. I have all my live streams on my YouTube. The link's in the bio. Thanks again, Bruce. Hello, Cruz.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, are you willing to take questions? 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really trying to debate. I just have a question for you. It's kind of odd.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. And I'm not really against what you do. Like everyone has a choice. But like, can I ask like why you debate? Because I've seen you on here for like a year or two now, almost. It's like debating. Like, what got you into it?
I just like having discussions with people about religion.
All right, that's respect. That's respect. All right, yeah, kind of odd question. That's all I was wondering. But yeah.
Yeah, that's all you had wanted to ask.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching. Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. What you got for us?
So, I don't know. There's a lot of different things you were talking about that I kind of wanted to ask about and debate. See, like the all-knowing and free will problem. Can you go ahead and like explain it a little bit further?
So yeah, the argument is God's knowledge perfect? Thank you for the $6.66 on Cash App. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sorry, Sid, would you say yes?
You said if God's knowledge is perfect, like what do you mean by perfect?
Like God's knowledge is perfect, like he can never be wrong about what he knows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So God can never be wrong about what he knows. So whatever he knows is going to happen, it will happen. So like if God knows you're going to turn left, you can't freely choose to turn right. You will turn left. You have to turn left. You must turn left.
See, knowledge doesn't contradict free will though. So like if let's just say
Perfect
that-
knowledge does. Perfect knowledge does.
Well, I mean, like, even if you had perfect knowledge, pre-knowing something that's going to happen doesn't mean you caused it to happen. So, like, if...
Yes, because you created it. You created it.
Well, so let's just say I like, created a situation for you to be in, rather left or right. And I have a time machine, and I could never be wrong about what I know after finding out I can't be wrong. So let's just say I know that you're going to pick right.
Thank you, Hanji. Thank you.
Because I have this time machine, and I go back in time. I know exactly what you're going to choose.
But this is not really analogous because you didn't create me.
I'm saying if I did, though, would that mean that there's still
if you created me and your knowledge is perfect, then I have to do whatever you know I'm going to do.
So can you like elaborate on what you mean by like me creating you? If I created you,
like God knows what you're going to do before he even creates you. Do you agree?
Yes.
Like before he even creates you, he knows what you're going to do. It's all
outside of time. Yeah.
And his knowledge is perfect. So every thought, every action, every decision is predetermined by God's perfect knowledge. That's basically the argument. Like if you believe in like people, like if you believe in like the burning hell type thing, there's a person in hell burning right now. And before God even created that person, he knew that person was going to go to hell. And since God can never be wrong about what he knows, that person is destined to go to hell. He has to go to hell. He will go to hell. He can't freely choose heaven, because if he were, that would make God wrong about what he knows.
So
that's the whole argument.
I'm still confused on how it like pairs together. Just because you create something doesn't mean that you have see, remember, like when it comes to Christianity, God limited himself so that we could have free will to choose left or right, choose between good.
But see, that's not biblical.
Well, it is, because he says multiple times in different verses that you have the choice between good and evil. That's
God limiting his powers is not biblical.
Well, all powerful would mean to go. See, that's only, I say that just because if you say that, like if he was all powerful, he would be over what he would like to happen, like against what we would want. But what we would want is to choose opposite from him eventually, right? Like we all choose to be opposite of God every day when we do sin.
No, you're not. If God's all knowing, you're not choosing anything. See, if you guys want to claim that you have free will from God, you have to bite the bullet and say, my God is not omniscient. He's not all knowing. That would logically make sense, because if God doesn't know what you're going to do, then that would make sense that you have free will. You can freely choose things. But since God is all knowing, which means he knows everything and God is perfect, you have to choose according to God's knowledge.
No, because the all-knowing part not comes from just him. I don't know. I don't know how your brain is working with
it's just logic. It's just logic.
God, we say he's omni. I forgot the word that you just used. The only reason why we think he's all-knowing is because he's all outside of time. See, that's the only reason. So in order to say that we had free will, if you had to come to the conclusion that he doesn't know what we're going to choose, shows that he wouldn't be outside of time, meaning that he's stuck to something that he created. You know what I mean?
Until you can refute the argument, I think it still holds. So God knows you're going to turn left, and God's never wrong about what he knows. So explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right and make God wrong about what he knows.
But
you can't.
But it's because he's all-knowing doesn't mean that he caused you to make a choice. I can know that something happens before it happens. Like there's people today on this earth that somehow know what something's going to happen. Some people are like blessed with that ability. Okay, that they there's some people that I think believe or know what's going to happen before. Not everybody. There's somebody who
you believe in psychics. Something.
I think that. I don't think that they know everything. I just think that God blesses them to know probably before something happens. I think that we all have
the problem is you can't explain to me how you can freely choose the opposite of God's knowledge. You can't.
So, can we go through like what you were talking about before, where it was like left and right? Give me that scenario again so we can work.
Okay. God's knowledge is perfect, and God can never be wrong about what he knows, right? Mm-hmm. So if God knows you're going to turn left, you will turn left. You must turn left. You have to turn left. You can't freely choose to turn right, because if you were to turn right, that would make God's knowledge wrong. Now he's wrong about knowing you're going to turn left if you choose to turn right. And it's impossible for God to be wrong about what he knows. So
Okay.
if God knows you're going to turn left, you will turn left. You think that you're making the choice to turn left, but you're not. It's an illusion. The free will is an illusion. You're actually turning left because this is what God knows you will do. It's not the other way around.
Can we break this down just a second? So you're saying that that we do not make the choice to go left in this situation. We don't.
You don't.
So
you don't.
if
You
we
think you do.
didn't
It feels like you do. It's an illusion.
If this is like an illusion and we think that we do, who's the person that's actually making the decision? Are you saying that God makes the decision for us?
Yes, because God knows everything you're going to choose before he even creates you. It's all
But
predetermined.
if I know that somebody is going to make a decision, did I make them make that decision? See,
Yes,
I think
because you
that we're
created
getting-
them. It's like
But-
it falls in line with like God having a plan for you, right? Like, do you believe that God has a plan for you?
I think that people that people think that God has like a plan and he maps out every single thing.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I'm
that
asking you, like, what do you think?
with my personal belief, I think that we make choices and God does what he can with those choices
But-
that we make.
Do you think your God's all-knowing?
Yes.
Then you're not making choices. It's not logical that you're actually making choices that God doesn't know is going to happen. He's all-knowing. You have to do the things God knows you're going to do.
But I don't see how it contradicts of all knowing and forcing to make a decision. Those don't overlap. Like I don't get what you're.
Okay, can you turn right? No, you will turn left. You
That's
must
just
turn
because
left.
he knows, not because he made you make that decision.
So
though.
that you're being forced to turn left. Can you choose the opposite? No, you must go left. You're being forced. You have to turn left. So you are being forced.
So you're saying the only reason he knows is because he's omnipresent, like he's outside of. I'm trying to break this down because it's so confusing.
Like
because
most people think that God is all powerful, all knowing, and omnipresent, which means he's everywhere, right? So those are like the three main attributes of God, right? So if God is all knowing, I don't know why. I don't know I don't know if he gets his like all knowledge because he's outside of space. And I don't know. All I know is that most of you people believe that he's all knowing, right? And a lot of you think that God has a plan for you. So if God has a plan for you, then your whole life is predetermined. He's controlling you, unless you think God's plan can fail. And then if God's plan can fail, then he's not perfect.
We as Christians believe that God has a plan for us because we submit our will to him. We don't choose. We don't sit down and pray and say,
Don't choose anything if God's
no,
all
I'm
knowing.
saying that we give up our right to choose. Like there's certain situations where we can choose to do something against that would actually go towards like a bad path in our life. But we say not our will, but your will be done. Like your plan for us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like what would make
And if God has a plan for you, then nothing can go against God's plan, right? God's plan will always play out because he's perfect.
I think God's plan always plays out because it's the better option.
Then you're being controlled.
But I don't
If
think
God has
controlled. But
if God has a plan for you,
choices like that, we still
Sid,
choose to be opposite of God. You know.
if God has a plan for you and God's plan will always play out the way he wants it to, you are not making any decisions. This is all happening. This is everything. God's doing everything. Your entire life is in God's hands. You're not choosing anything. His plan for you is to do exactly what he wants you to do. And that can't fail because God's perfect. So you are like essentially a robot. I know you think you're freely making choices, but it's an illusion. It just feels that way. Now, if you want to claim that God gave you free will, then you have to say God's not all knowing. That would logically follow. That would be logically consistent. That would make sense.
You're saying, so I'm saying that if I knew what you were going to choose, the left or right option, because I know I'm making you make that decision. You're not
created me too.
You're saying only because because if I created you, right? So
Yes.
what does creating somebody have to do with them making decisions though? Like, can we break that down a little bit?
Because before God even creates you, he knows everything you're going to do.
But you're saying that because he created you that still doesn't, it's like you're looping around in a circle. So like, Because
I don't understand how this is. I don't understand how you're not getting this. Like, God created you, and He knows everything that's going to happen, and that means God can never be wrong. So whatever God knows is going to happen, it will happen. You can't freely choose the opposite of what God knows is going to happen. You can't.
But see, I've tried to put that into a perspective of if I knew what you were going to choose and I was all knowing, am omnipresent. So I was outside of space and time and I know what you were going to choose. I said, how did I force you to make that decision? And your rebuttal was because God made us. So if I made you,
well, it's not just that. It's not just that. It's the fact that you can't choose the opposite. So if I tell you that you must do something, you have to do something, would you consider that me forcing you to do it?
Wait, repeat the question because I don't want to dodge it. Sorry.
If I tell you, you have to do this, you must do this, would you consider me forcing you?
Yes, but that's not how God does that.
Okay, so if God knows you're going to turn left, you have to turn left. You must turn left. You're being forced to turn left. You can't freely choose to turn right.
Because right now in your example was, if I told you you had to do this, that's not giving me a choice. But if God says that you rather are going to choose left or right, and He knows that you're going to choose right, that didn't force you to choose right. He already knew that you were going to choose that.
In this scenario, He knows you're going to choose to turn left, and you cannot freely choose to turn right. You can't. You will turn left.
Because you already made the choice. If you were outside of time, you already made the choice.
God doesn't. So when you say you already made the choice, what you're saying is that God doesn't know what you're going to do until you do it.
No, God's outside of time. So if I was stuck in time and I had to choose left or right, if He didn't know what I was going to choose, He's not outside of space and time. If He's inside of space and time, He already knows what I'm going to choose because He's already went through it. Didn't make me choose left.
It doesn't matter.
Chose left, and since He's outside of time, He already knew that I was going to choose that. Not making me choose that. He already gave me that option of free will.
He knows what you're going to choose before He even creates you, and you can't choose the opposite of anything that He knows.
Because the only reason He knows is because He's outside of space and time.
I don't think God's location has anything to do with His knowledge.
I think so. That's the whole reason. If not, He would be stuck in time with us through every situation, and not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing for the greater good,
and
not
like on a philosophical level, I don't even think that it's possible to be outside of space and time.
So you think that space and time?
I'm not sure what the argument is. I'm not sure what the argument is for that. But I lost my train of thought. The whole point is, the whole argument is you're not freely choosing things if God's knowledge is perfect. And until you can refute, until you can adequately explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right, even though God knows you're going to turn left, then the argument still stands up.
I get half of your argument. I can see where you could possibly go with the argument if you had to say that we don't have the choice because God created us a certain type of way. If I had some type of disability that didn't allow me to have the free will to go on a amusement park ride, like a roller coaster or something, that can contradict because He made me a certain way. But when you bring He made me a certain way, or he created us, it still doesn't logically track why that would be contradicting the free will problem. You know what I mean?
Well, then explain how you can freely choose to turn right, even though God knows you're going to turn left.
Because He's outside of time, He already knows what you're going to choose. So there's two.
Explain it.
So God is there's two options. He's rather inside of or outside of time and space, or He's trapped in it with us. So if He is outside of time and space, He already knows the situations that we're going to go through. That's the whole reason why we say He's omnipresent. Or, I think that's the word. Anyway.
Yeah. So explain how you can turn right and make God wrong. Explain how that's possible.
The only reason to make Him wrong is if He didn't know what was going to happen.
Correct. That means that you only have free will if God's not all-knowing.
But no, that's only if He doesn't know.
Yes, if God's not all-knowing, then you're freely choosing things. But since God's knowledge is perfect, you can't turn right and make God wrong. Make God wrong about what he knows. It's impossible because God's perfect. God's knowledge is perfect.
But then he wouldn't be all knowing if he wasn't. He wouldn't be all knowing then.
Correct. That's why. That's the contradiction. That's the problem. If you're freely choosing things, then God is not all knowing. If God is all knowing, then you're not freely choosing things.
But knowing doesn't make us choose a certain thing.
It does. Explain to me how. Okay, explain. Explain how you can turn right. Explain how you can turn right, even though God knows you're going to turn left, and God can't be wrong about what he knows. Explain to me how you can turn right and not make God wrong. It's impossible. You have to say God is not all-knowing in order for you to say, I can freely choose left or right.
But that's only to prove God wrong. In this situation, he's like...
No, it's just to prove that he's not... It wouldn't disprove God necessarily. It would just prove that God's not all-knowing. That's what the Christ... Like, I keep trying to explain this to, like, theists. Like, if you want to make the claim that God gave you free will, it only makes sense logically if God is not omniscient, if he's not all-knowing. That's the only way it makes logical sense, that you do have free will, that you are freely choosing things. Because if God is all-knowing, you're not freely choosing things. And if you claim that you are free... Can you hear me? Sorry, I just got a phone call.
Yeah, no, you're good.
That completely ruined my train of thought.
No, you're good. I feel like we're running in circles though, because like it's not making sense on your point of view, and I don't think mine is making sense on vice versa. I don't know. Do you have like a different topic that you want to go to, or do you want to go to another guest?
Yeah, I got like 9 people waiting.
Okay.
So I'd like
to thanks anyway though.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming up. Guys, keep tapping the screen. I'm just doing 1v1 right now, guys. I see Demi wanted to come up, and Joel, I see you wanted to come up too, but I'm just trying to do some one-on-ones right now, guys. Joel, Demi, I did message you. Check your messages, Demi. I messaged you because my days off got changed. So if you want to do a co-host, we can do one either tomorrow or Thursday if you want to.
Today, quite frankly, are hard to figure out.
Hello, Sergio.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I heard the last conversation you had with that young lady, and it was pretty interesting. I don't believe that there is free will. I believe that's also a myth, but I am a Christian.
Okay.
God is definitely omniscient. He knows the beginning from the end. He knows everything that we will do. Everything is predetermined by God. But your argument with her was, or she made the argument about going left or right and all that stuff. To me, that's trivial. God, we think we have that ability to turn left or right, but whatever you turn, it was predetermined. And I think God is more concerned with our eternal soul than left or right. And as far as, who he sends to hell and who he sends to heaven is absolutely his freedom to choose who he hands justice to and who he hands mercy to. He has that freedom. You know what free will means? Autonomous. That means self-governed. We are not self-governed.
Okay. So
we're governed by God and governed by the law.
Which topic here would you like to have a discussion about here?
I think the all-knowing and free will problem.
Well, we both agree, though. We both agree that you can't have free will if God's all-knowing. So we both agree.
Exactly. Because
so we agree on that.
We agree.
Yeah. Keep tapping the screen, guys. I appreciate you all being here. Keep tapping the screen, guys. If you like the content, please drop a follow. This is my backup account. My main account is suspended until the 25th, so we are here on my backup account. please go follow me on YouTube. My link is in the bio if you want to watch the full live stream. And I have a ton of my full live streams on there if you guys are looking for some new live streams to listen to. Thank you, Evan, for the money gun. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get a guest loaded in here, but they're not loading in. Hello?
Oh shit. I didn't mean to request, but I guess now I'm here, I'll say this. I heard your conversation with that lady like 2 or 3 guests ago, and you were saying about how if it's not free will, if God knows what you're gonna do. And I just want to know, do you think he's making you make a decision? Like, I just caught the last little bit of it.
Yeah, you can't freely choose the opposite, so you are being forced to choose according to God's knowledge. So yeah, you are being forced.
How are you being forced?
Okay, if you're not being forced, explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right if you can't, if God knows you're going to turn left.
Because he didn't make you choose, he just saw you choose. He can see all of time at once because he's not bound by time and space.
So what you're saying is that you're saying that God doesn't know what you're going to do until he sees you do it?
He saw you, he can see all of time at once. A lot like looking down, like let's say there's the beginning of time, he's looking at his floor, for example. There's the beginning of time and there's the end of time.
Right, but you're saying that God doesn't know what you're going to do until he sees you do it.
No, I'm saying he's not making you make the choice. If he's not making you, explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right even though God knows you're going to turn left, and God can't be wrong about what he knows. Well, it's a lot like looking into the past. Like we didn't have to, like Columbus didn't have to do anything in terms of going to America, but he already did. We already saw him do that. But he could have made a different choice. Anybody in the past could have made a different choice.
If God is all knowing, all of your actions, all of your thoughts, all of your decisions are predetermined by God. Everything God, before you're even created, God knows you're going to do something, and you have to do that thing. You can't choose the opposite because God's never wrong about what he knows. Does that make sense?
In a way, I do see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is
you're saying that he's not forcing you. He only knows that you did it because he saw you do it.
Which is still free will, no?
But that argument means that God's not all-knowing. That means that God doesn't know what you're going to do until he sees you do it.
But is that not free will, though?
That would mean that, yeah, that would be free will because that means God's not all-knowing. So that's the whole thing. You can't, if you want to say you have free will, you have to say that your God's not all-knowing. That's the whole thing. That would make logical sense, that God doesn't know what I'm going to do, so therefore I am freely choosing things. But if God knows what you're going to do, you're not freely choosing things.
The only way that makes perfect sense is if we could somehow go back in time and change our decisions. Like, let's say we made a bad decision. We can ask God to go back and change it. That'd be the way that makes sense. He's not, he's not forcing you to choose between one or the other. He just saw you do it. Okay.
No, that means he's not all-knowing. If he doesn't know what you're going to do until he sees you do it, then he's not all-knowing.
He does know.
And in that case, you would then have I would say you can make the claim that you have free will if God doesn't know what you're going to do. If you're going to say that God doesn't know what I'm going to do until he sees me do it, then your God's not all-knowing, and then that would make logical sense that you are freely choosing things.
But God sees everything. He can see all of time at once.
So God does know what you're going to do before you do it, right?
Yes.
That means that you will go according to God's knowledge. If God knows you're going to turn left, you will turn left. You have to turn left.
He's observing you do it. He's not making you do it. He's just simply observing that and the future beyond.
He knows you're going to do it before you're even born.
Because he saw you do it already.
How did he see you do it before you're even born?
Because he's not bound by time. He can
explain to me how he saw you do it before you're even born.
I tried. Okay, let's go back. Like, let's say you're looking at all of time on your floor. You can see the beginning of time and you can see the end of time. You're not putting your fingers in there and turning people in certain directions. You're just watching them. You can see it all at once.
They're doing what you know they're going to do.
They're doing what you're watching. You're not
he
making them.
created before he creates you, he knows your whole life. He knows everything you're going to do.
Yes.
It's all predetermined.
But it's not something that he made you do.
You're being forced to turn left, sir. If
But
God
not
knows
by
you,
God.
Yeah, okay. Explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right if God knows you're going to turn left. You can't. You can't explain it.
I can. You're just not listening. He can't. He's not making you do it. He's just watching you do it.
Okay, if he's not
everything all at once.
If he's not making you turn left, explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right, even though God knows you're going to turn left.
Because you can still choose. He just saw you do it.
So God can be wrong about what he knows.
No, because he sees all of time at once.
If God can't be wrong about what he knows, then you can't turn right. You will turn left. You must turn left.
You will.
Yes, you will.
But it's
you
not
have
that
no
you
free will.
can't.
You will do it. You will do it. Yes.
It's not because of God.
What? God's the creator. He created the whole thing.
Yes, and now he's watching it from the beginning and the end. He created us with free will.
And you can't choose the opposite of God's knowledge. You can't. You will, like you just said it, you will go left.
Really?
You must turn left. You have to turn left. You can't go right.
Look, I'm not. I do see what you're saying. I just don't think you see what I'm saying, or maybe perhaps I'm not explaining it well enough. I'm not a big Bible fanatic. I'm probably not explaining it well enough, is what it is. But
yeah.
The only good thing I can think about is you're looking at all of time on your floor, for example. You're playing a game. You're watching these things happen. You know, you're
not just watching it. You know what's going to happen.
But he's not forcing his little pieces.
Okay, if he's not forcing you to turn left, explain to me how you can freely choose to turn right. You can't. You will go left. You're forced to go left.
Because
you can't turn right.
To God, you already did. But he didn't make me turn left. He didn't turn my head left.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Okay, if he's not making you turn left, and if he's not forcing you to turn left, and God can't ever be wrong about what he knows, how can you freely choose to turn right, even though God knows you're going to turn left, and he can never be wrong about what he knows? So if he knows you're going to turn left, you will turn left. You must turn left. You have to turn left. You're forced to turn left. You can't go right, because God's never wrong about what he knows, and God knows you're going to go left, so you will go left. You have to turn left. You must turn left. You're being forced to turn left.
That would be like saying
you're a robot. Your entire life is a robot, unless your God is not all-knowing. If your God's not all-knowing, then it's logical that you are freely choosing to make decisions. But if your God's all-knowing, you're a robot. You're a puppet.
I guess if you want to think about it like that, but it's not like I'm trying to go to the bathroom and God's like, whoa, 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 we got other stuff to do first. I still have the choice to go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen.
If God knows,
he just knows.
If God knows you're going to go to the bathroom right now, can you not go to the Can you not go to the bathroom?
I can.
So God can be wrong about what he knows.
So wait, say that again.
If God knows, God can't be wrong about what he knows, right?
No.
So if God knows you're going to go to the bathroom right now, can you not go to the bathroom?
Yes.
So you're going to make God wrong about what he knows?
But he would see that I went to the bathroom.
Yeah, so God can't ever be wrong about what he knows, and God knows that you're going to get up and go take a piss right now.
Yes, he does.
Can you choose to not go and take a piss and make God wrong about what he knows?
He saw me make the choice to go take a piss.
He knows you're going to, what you're saying is that he doesn't know what you're going to do until you go and do it. And that's not all-knowing.
No, I'm saying he's not forcing me to make
yes,
the
he
decision to go to the
is.
bathroom.
Okay.
Hold on.
If God knows you're going to stand up and go to the bathroom right now, explain to me how you can freely choose to not go to the bathroom and make God wrong about what he knows. You can't. So if God knows you're going to get up and go to the bathroom right now, you're being forced to get up and go to the bathroom. You will get up. You will get up and go to the bathroom. You have to go to the bathroom.
We as humans live in the present, though. We have the choice in the present to either go to the bathroom or take a piss. God is not bound by the past, present, or the future. He simply created it.
That's fine. But you are bound by God's knowledge if God is all-knowing.
Yes, we are bound by God's creation
Okay,
and God's
you admit
knowledge.
it. You admit it. You are bound by God's knowledge, which means everything you do, everything you decide, every action you take, every thought is predetermined by God's knowledge.
It's not predetermined. It's already happened according to God. I'm trolling you, bro. I don't fucking know shit. I'm fucking trolling.
No, you're not trolling me. You got cooked, and I proved you wrong, and now you're gonna pretend. No, now you're pretending to be a troll. This is what a lot of you will do when you realize that you're not making sense, and you realize that you're not making any like logical arguments. You pretend that you're trolling. That's what you were doing. You're not trolling. You're pretending to troll. But that was a good conversation. I enjoyed the conversation.
What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Hey, I just got a question, man. Because I've seen your lives a couple of times. Is that what it says in the background? Is that for real?
What, Christianity is a red flag, all-knowing, God supports slavery, all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
What happened?
What do you mean? What happened?
Because last time you had your dog and everything, and you was like,
I was like, God is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I troll Christians and I say, the good Lord came in me and he touched me and I praise God.
What happened?
It's a satire account, sir. It's where I troll Christians.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just it's not real. It's I'm mocking God. I'm mocking Christianity.
Oh. Okay. Okay, so no, brother, because you got me worried, man. Because I wanted to talk to you so bad, and I was like, dude. I mean, I wasn't trying to convert you or anything at the time. I would just wanted to talk to you and say, "What's up, brother?" and what's going on? Because I'm just a kind of guy, and ask you some questions. You know what? I'm hey, do you, man? Shoot, I got your back. You need me? Okay. You hit me up, bro. I got you.
All right. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.
What up, Skits? What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Yo, I'm gonna be real quick, man. I appreciate what you do because I get to listen to you all day and shit while I'm at work. But I noticed one thing that you did, and it's crazy. You have exposed like the mindset of so many believers. It's crazy. It's kind of like all of them, they believe the same platform. It's like because they follow Christianity, they're easily fooled, and it's hard for them to believe like what they're seeing, what they're hearing. It's like, it's crazy. And another thing I would like those callers to do when they come up here, because you actually hit them with what's in the Bible facts, but it seemed like they never come up with book and verse. They just don't do it. Like when they come up here, they should be ready with like the book and the verse of what they're going to say, so they can say, here you go, here it is. And they never come with that, man. So I just wanted to drop that on you, and keep doing what you're doing, man. I'll be waiting for the YouTube, so I watch you all day, bro. So I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you, Crisco. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Thanks a lot for the support. It makes me feel really good that people get entertainment and watch, and I'm happy that I can do that for you.
Yeah, definitely, bro. You expose cognitive dissonance. It's crazy. But it's definitely entertaining, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Crisco. Yeah. W Crisco. All right, guys. Keep tapping the likes, guys. Please keep tapping the likes. Click the follow button. We are here on my backup account right now. My main account is suspended until the 26th. So we are here on my backup right now. Please go follow me on my YouTube. The link's in the bio. If you want to watch the full live stream, and I have, like Crisco was saying, I have a ton of my full live streams on there. I get some pretty fucking wild guests on here, guys. I really do get some crazy guests. My profile is full of clips of videos of Christians saying that they would harm children, they would harm their neighbors' children, they would sexually assault their own child if God commanded them to do it. Right, I have dozens and dozens of videos of Christians saying these things, and I know a lot of you will say, well, they're not true Christians. They're not true Christians. Well, they could just say that about you. They could flip that on you and say, no, you're not a true Christian. You're the one that wouldn't follow a command from God. I would follow every command from God, so I'm a true Christian. So which one of you are the real Christians? right? None of you can actually agree on anything. You guys don't. I can give you one scripture, and 10 Christians won't agree on it. They'll all have their own interpretation of it. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry, it was too late. Took too long to answer. Took too long to answer, sorry. Keep tapping the likes, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Everyone click the follow button right now. Everyone go follow me on YouTube. Please go follow me on YouTube. New house. I got you next, new house. Actually, I'll bring you up right now because that guest didn't load up. So let's bring you in here. Thank you, Crisco. Thank you for the galaxy, man. W Crisco, right. Guys. W Crisco. Thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate you.
Let me turn this down here. All right, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you.
So, yeah, I don't know. I saw your background picture, and like, I wasn't gonna say anything, and then I listened to you talking about stuff, and I was like, well, hold on. So I got like I made notes here, 3 notes.
Okay.
And so you were, first thing was when I first came on here, you were talking about Adam and Eve eating the forbidden fruit, and so this 1 out of the 3, this one is not my argument.
Thank you, Demi.
But my friend pointed out to me that it doesn't appear to say that they ate the forbidden fruit. So I don't know what you're on about.
I mean, I don't know like word by word, but what do you mean that Eve didn't eat the forbidden fruit? Like
that's doctrine, is like basically the idea. And so
in Genesis, it doesn't say Eve was tempted by the serpent to eating the fruit.
She ate, yeah, but not. It doesn't say. It doesn't appear to say, based on English grammar, that she ate from the tree of knowledge or whatever.
Okay.
But we can skip that one if you don't want. If you're not interested.
Sure. I mean, I don't. I'm pretty sure it does say in Genesis somewhere that Eve.
Oh well, that's not a skip, bro. If you're pretty sure. So it's Genesis 2 and 3. You're gonna have to pull that up. Oh wait, I got it right here. And so this is this dude's actually a Muslim, and like I think he's trying to use the scripture to prove his Quran or something. But
yeah, that makes sense now. Yeah,
it's an interesting argument that he has from this Genesis. It's Genesis 2 and 3, or Genesis 2 and Genesis 3 rather. So. Verse 17, he says, "But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it." And then in verse 3, just off memory, the serpent says, "The tree in the midst of the garden." He doesn't say the tree of knowledge, so people are assuming that the tree of knowledge.
I don't know. This could just be a contradiction. This could just be a contradiction. No, I don't know.
Because it says.
So what exactly am I supposed to be reading here? You're claiming that Eve didn't actually eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right?
Well, this is an argument that I've heard from a friend, and
okay.
But it seems pretty logical. It's definitely valid. If you want to say it's on sound.
So let's see. You said verse 17, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Okay, so now where am I supposed to go to after that?
So let's see.
Genesis 3?
Yeah, Genesis 3 talks about when the serpent says, "Thou shalt not." The only thing is the serpent said the tree in the center of the garden.
Oh yeah, it does say that. You're right. It does say.
And so you can go back to Genesis 2:9. And so,
but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God said, "You
Right.
shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. You will not. You will." The serpent said, "You will not die." For God knows that in the day that you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Well, see, right there, it does say that it's the tree of good and evil.
Where?
Verses 4 and 5. It says, "Then the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not surely die.'
No, that's
God knows."
the lie, though. That's the lie.
Well, no, it says, "For God." Hold on. It
Because
says
God said that about the tree of knowledge, not the tree in the center of the garden.
It says, "For God knows that in the day that you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil."
Yeah.
So it is the tree of good and evil.
No. The serpent said that about a different tree.
Well,
the tree. Because
why would she have knowledge of good and evil if it wasn't from the tree of good and evil? It sounds to me like it is talking about the tree of good and evil.
So the serpent says the same thing that God said, except God said, "But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil," and the serpent said, "Of the tree in the midst of the garden." And so
you're right. It does say the serpent is saying that it's the tree in the midst of the garden. But if you read just a couple verses more, he says that God knows that if you eat from this tree, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So how is she gaining knowledge of good and evil if it's not talking about the tree of good and evil?
Isn't that the serpent talking still? I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the serpent talking.
Yeah. So what's the big deal?
I would say listen. I'm not a Christian. I'm actually an atheist. I don't know if you know that.
I wasn't sure if you were Jewish or what.
No. I'm a non-believer. But I would say that if you add the context here where it says you will be like God, knowing good and evil, I would argue that the
serpent is saying the same thing that God said, but it changing the tree. He's saying what God said to Adam, and Eve wasn't even there at the time.
No,
when he said that.
Didn't God say, "Don't eat from the tree of good and evil"?
Yes.
Okay, now the serpent is saying that if you eat from this tree, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So they are talking about the tree of good and evil.
So the serpent says, "But
this sounds like this argument that you're using from your friend. It sounds like a Muslim just trying to disprove the Bible."
Well, he is a Muslim, and he's
I know you said that, and that's exactly what this Muslim is trying to do. But I don't think it's a very good argument.
No, because the serpent said, "But of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, you shall not eat of it." He's saying that God said this, lest you die.
Yeah, so God didn't say that actually. So the serpent's lying, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I don't think this would be a very good argument.
In Genesis 2, verse 9, where it talks about the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the thing is that when it says comma and after the tree in the midst of the garden, that makes a independent clause. And this is part of this dude's argument. Because
I don't think this would be a very good argument for a Muslim to use, but because I think you could just explain it away. I think a Christian
Christian will try. I've watched this dude stream for so many times, and they try to explain it, but
are you a Christian?
Says that it's different.
Are you a Christian?
Not religiously.
Because I could maybe try to bring a Christian up here and let you try to run this argument against them. Maybe.
I really don't want to.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like a Christian would just.
You mentioned the trees. You made some big argument about the trees, and I just presented. You can't even tell.
Well, I think. Why did I bring that up? I brought that up because. Why did I bring that up? Because the guy was saying. The guy was saying that God was merciful. And I was because Eve ate from the tree and he didn't kill her, so he was saying God's merciful. But I was saying, how is that merciful when God's like, I know you're going to eat from this tree, but I'm going to put this tree in front of you and tell you not to eat from it, even though I know you're going to eat from it. And then when you do what I know that you're going to do, I'm going to punish you for it. How is that merciful? You know?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I was going to say this dude in the comments is giving me the @ symbol and saying, "What's with your videos?" I do highlights from a Chinese game show with the girl that I like. But anyway,
what's with your videos, bro? What's going on? What's going on with this guy's videos? I can't see him.
He's just making fun of me or something.
Oh, that's not nice. Guys, don't make fun of the guests.
So anyway, then you were talking about foreknowledge and God. So I don't know if you were talking about multiple gods or what. I don't know where I got that.
This whole live is for the Christian God.
So
wait, are you a Christian? I don't know if you answered that or not.
I said not religiously, and yes.
So like you're like a follower of Christ, but you're not like a Christian. You don't want to be like labeled as a Christian.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
And so you were talking about foreknowledge and stuff, and like, first of all, I tried to look this up where it even says that, and I didn't say. I couldn't. Let me see what I searched. All knowing, I think. Yeah, all knowing, and there's not that anywhere in the text.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think the Bible actually points to God being not all knowing because God Himself says that He's not all knowing.
So are you knocking on doctrine? Because doctrine is completely different, and I've heard you do this a couple times.
This would just be
the church teaches things that are not different. There's all these different things, different denominations, whatever. They teach things that are not in the scripture. Like they have their own stuff.
Yeah, so this would just be like if you do believe that God is all knowing and that you have free will, then this would be for you. But yeah, like in the Bible, God says that He doesn't know what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. He has to go down Himself and see. Then I will know. To me, that's like God saying He's not all knowing. He doesn't know. He has to go look and see.
Right. Well,
so I would agree that if you actually look at the scripture, I would agree that God is not really all knowing.
And it doesn't say, even if it did say He was, it doesn't say He's all foreknowing, like foreknowledge, like so.
Yeah. This basically, that argument is for like if you believe that God is all knowing and that God's knowledge is perfect and that you have free will, like those things can't exist because.
Well, if you want to do so, you could bring up more doctrine, like different doctrines that don't seem to make sense.
The what? Say it again.
Doctrines, because that's a doctrine. Like you were just like all knowing. You just said it doesn't say that.
No, I don't, sir. I think you're confused. I don't believe in God.
I'm not confused.
I don't believe in God. I don't believe God.
I realize that.
So I'm confused. I'm confused. Maybe I'm the one that's confused here. I don't know exactly what you're trying to do here.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it, bro. But all right, yo, that's
say it. Say what?
I know that. What?
What do you want to talk about? Like you said, you made notes. So like we got the first note out of the way.
Yeah, I wrote trees, gods, and derivatives. What happens? Quote foreknowledge. I have 3 notes. That's
yeah.
My
like
note.
if you believe that God is all knowing and that His knowledge is perfect, I disagree that you have free will.
Well, so basically on the free will thing, I'd say, first of all, it doesn't say that He's all knowing, and if it did say that, it doesn't say He has foreknowledge of everything. All knowing, that's the different thing.
Yeah, so that argument is not for you because you don't believe God's all knowing.
All right. Well, yeah, it was good talking to you. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. That was weird. Let me bring Demi up here for a second. Now he's been trying to come up. Sorry, Demi. I just had a bunch of guests waiting.
Oh, all right, buddy.
What's up, Demi?
Not much. I got your message late, and I was just coming up to join the co-host. But you don't want to do it today. You want to do it tomorrow?
Well, I don't remember exactly what I sent you. I think I meant to type that I'm off tomorrow and the next day. Like today, I wasn't planning on doing.
Yeah, you said today, tomorrow, and the next day. So that's why I was trying to.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, I wasn't trying to do it like a co-host today. Like I'm actually fixing to hop off here like pretty soon.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tomorrow and Thursday I'm free if you want to do a co-host on your platform probably because my main is banned.
That's fine. We can do it either mine or yours.
Yeah, I'm down. That sounds fun. What day? Will you want to do it tomorrow or Thursday?
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
Okay. What time?
I don't know. What's your schedule look like?
I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do tomorrow.
What time do you usually start?
It just depends, really. Like, whatever time you want to do it.
I'm Eastern Standard.
Okay. I'm Central, so I'm an hour behind you, I think, right?
Okay. So I'm assuming you usually start these lives like midday?
Yeah, probably like sometimes like 1 o'clock, sometimes 4 o'clock, sometimes 7 o'clock. It just really depends. Whatever time you want to, I'll be down.
Let's do 2 o'clock your time tomorrow.
So that's 3 o'clock for you, right?
Yep.
2 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, I'm down.
Awesome. Now tonight, in regards to the topic of all-knowing or free will being a problem, read Isaiah chapter 46, 9 through 10.
Hold on, let me get it. Isaiah what?
Isaiah 46, 9 through 10.
Okay.
And then in the book of, I believe it's Romans 22, there's a conversation about the potter and the clay.
Okay. And is this going to prove that like your life is predeterminism?
Yes. So in Isaiah 46, 9 through 10, God is basically saying that everything is already written from the beginning to the end before you are born.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Your story is already written before you're born. And then
they're still going to argue that that's not God forcing the decision, forcing the choices.
Well, that's where Romans comes in. So if your story is written from the beginning to the end and your entire life is already predetermined, regardless of where God is through time and space, he also has the ability to use people at any given time as a vessel of wrath for his destruction, and also a vessel of his mercy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that because that'd be a good argument to use. I was not aware of that verse.
Yep. So God uses people for both as a vessel of wrath and for his mercy at any given time, because the story is written from the beginning to the end, and his will always be done.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. Mm-hmm. And I'll hit you up tomorrow around 1:30 or so, and I'll just you can fire up your live and I'll just join.
Solid copy.
All right. Thanks, Demi.
No problem, buddy.
Demi, guys, give Demi a follow.
So tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, 3. If you're on the West Coast, that's approximately 1.
Yeah, we're gonna do a Skits and Demi co-host.
Sounds good to me, man. See you tomorrow.
All right. See you later, Demi.
See ya.
Demi. He was killing me the other day. He was making goat noises in the live the other day. It was funny. He was going bah. I just seen Justin in the comments. Justin, I enjoyed that video of you with Planet Peterson. That was awesome. That was a good video. Go check out. I don't know if you guys subscribe to Planet Peterson or Justin's YouTube, but go follow their YouTubes. Justin did like a sort of like an interview type video with Planet Peterson and talking about prophecies. I bought Planet Peterson's book, guys, and I'm reading it. It's really good. If you want to buy his book, it's Rational Answers to Stupid Questions. It's like the link to his book is in his bio, and like it just gives you like a good answers to like dumb questions you hear a lot of times concerning like what evolution and the Big Bang and I like it, like in the very back of the book, it lists like every single fallacy and the definition of the fallacy, and it gives an example of what the fallacy is. So yeah, it's a good book so far. I've only read like 2 chapters, but
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
About this whole free will thing, I was a Christian for 27 years myself before I got out of the dichotomy, and I know the Bible. 1 Kings 22, 19 through 23, and now the prophets that God sent out, God put a lying spirit on these prophets so that he would go out and lie to the people and cause them to be led astray. If that is not a deviation from free will, there's no other fucking explanation that people ever accept.
Yeah, so what is it saying? It's saying that he will...
Let me grab my Bible. I know the verse on hand, but I'll grab the Bible. It's 3 scriptures, and it's straightforward. Where to go? I keep it out.
Just go ahead and mute yourself and find it. I'm going to bring the guest up. Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah, I know it's right on hand, dude. I fight with Christians all the time.
What is it?
It's 1 Kings 19 through 23.
Okay, what's it say?
All right, I'm about there. 2 Kings. All right, 1 Kings 22. 19 through 23. All right, here we go. I got it right here. And Micaiah said, "Therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting in his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing beside him on his right hand, on his left. And the Lord said, Who will entice Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said one thing, and another said another. Then the Spirit came forward and stood before the Lord, saying, I will entice him. And the Lord said to him, By what means? And he said, I will go out, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all the prophets. And he said, You are to entice him, and you shall succeed. Go and do so."
So you're arguing that that's God interfering with someone's free will?
Absolutely. If he puts a spirit on somebody that forces them to lie, to deceive an entire nation, to fall at the hands of somebody else, that's the complete contradiction.
But the problem is, though, that Christians, they're going to argue back. They're going to say, well, that doesn't mean that God didn't give us free will. That's just an example of God interfering with one person's free will. And if God can give you free will, he can take it away. He can interfere with it if he wants to. That proves nothing. Checkmate, atheist.
But I mean, it's not free. It's one person's free will. It was an entire nation's free will.
Yeah, well, that's what they'll argue, though.
It's not one prophet. This is all the prophets. He put a lying spirit on all the prophets that were supposed to be his people, like preaching the word of God. He forced them to lie so that this nation would take their armies and come here just to get ambushed.
Yeah, but they'll still just say that doesn't prove we don't have free will. I think the better argument is if they believe that God is all knowing, that you don't have free will. I think that's the better argument, because even if you show that to them, they're going to say, well, the Bible, we don't actually know who wrote that, and that doesn't mean God doesn't give us free will, because if that's just God interfering with a group of people's free will, and if he gives you free will, he can take it away if he wants to. So I mean, that's what they'll say back.
The Christian apologist indoctrination is some of the most well-executed shit I have ever seen in my life. I swear to God. And even even the Gospels, there's 4 different accounts when Jesus was sending the people out in faith. All 4 people say something entirely different. The premise of the whole thing is correct, but they all name specific items independent of each other that he said to take or not take.
Yeah.
3 accounts of the gospel have Simeon Peter, or Peter Simeon carrying the cross for Jesus, but one has Jesus carrying it. Or 3 accounts have Jesus carrying the cross, one has Simeon Peter carrying it.
I got you. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming up. I got a few more guests to get to here, though.
All right, appreciate it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you, man. No problem. Thanks for watching. Guys, keep tapping the screen, guys. Click the follow button if you've enjoyed this live stream. We are here on my backup account. My main account is suspended until the 25th, I think. So yeah, we are here on my backup. So please follow me on my YouTube, guys, if you want to watch the full live stream. I have all my full live streams on my YouTube. Please go follow me on there. The link's in the bio to my YouTube, guys. I really appreciate you all being here. Thanks for the gifts, everybody. I really appreciate the gifts and the donations on Cash App. Thank you guys so much.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
Doing well, man. Hey, so I am a Christian. I'm not here to try to change your mind or anything like that, but just wanted to touch base with you as far as you were trying to understand one of the previous listeners about you can't have free will and God all-knowing. Can you just reverb that for me again?
So yeah, like the argument is, if you believe that God is all-knowing and that his knowledge is perfect, do you believe that? Do you believe that God is all-knowing and that his knowledge is perfect?
I do, yes.
So that means that God can never be wrong about what he knows, right?
Yes, I believe that God can never be wrong about what he knows.
Okay, so God can never be wrong about what he knows. God knows you're going to turn left. Can you freely choose to turn right and make God wrong?
I love that question, and because I was a skeptic my whole life until I was about 22, 23. I heard this analogy and it made me understand it better. I'm not telling you, hey, this is facts for all, but it just made me understand the whole concept better. Do you believe that NFL football players, when they're on the field, that they have free will to call their plays? Like, do you believe that for yourself?
It depends if they believe that God is all knowing, then no. They don't.
Fair point. I got you, my man. I'm just saying, like no God as of right now. I am going to make a comparison. That's why I'm asking this.
Oh, are you saying like, do I believe in free will, like regardless of God, like?
More so the point that I'm trying to tie into is like football players out on the field when they call their plays, when they're running around, you know, that is like that's live, that's in the moment happening, you know. Sundays watching the game, they are running around, they're doing that. Whereas if I miss the game, you know, I get to go back on my DVR, watch it, and then when I'm watching on the DVR, you know, I get to fast forward to the past. I get to rewind to the present. But the whole entire time, the players got the free will to have the quarterback throw the ball. The coach called the plays.
You're saying I'm not influencing their actions, even though I know what they're going to do.
Yeah. So I'm.
But see, that's not really analogous, because you're not the creator of their lives. Yeah. Your knowledge is not perfect. So if you were the creator of all the football players' lives and your knowledge is perfect, then they're not freely choosing everything. Everything is based on what your knowledge of your creation.
I hear what you're trying to say. I think this unfortunately might go back to the previous listener of how you guys just didn't see eye to eye in that same situation. But if God, I believe God created time as well, you know, and that's another hard concept to fully understand and fully grasp. But if God created time, then he would be outside of time, right? If you create something, you're going to be outside of it, correct?
Well, the argument is you need time to create.
From our understanding, absolutely.
Yes, how can you create time if you need time to create?
I see. So as humans, we only see time as what it is right now. You know, we know that there has been a past. We are living in the present. We hope that there's a future, right? But if you believe that time, I believe that time's created. If I believe God created time, right? He has to be outside of time, where he can be in the past, present, future. That's where I'm just mainly trying to get at, as far as when we have the free will, you know, when the football players have the free will to go run up the fields, do whatever, call the plays, then when we look back on it on our DVRs or whatever, they still have the free will, even though we are living outside of that time. The game already happened. We can go rewind to before the game happened, to fast forward to the very end of the game, you know. But
but I don't see how that's analogous to like God, because we didn't create the football game players, we didn't create their lives, and our knowledge is not perfect. So I agree with you that even though I'm watching a replay of the game and I know what the players are going to do, I agree that I'm not influencing their actions, but I'm not the one who created them. I'm not the one who created them, and my knowledge is not perfect. So
gotcha.
It's not analogous to me.
Yeah. So you personally believe in not God, but you believe in that each person, like God created that football player, using the same analogy, to run left and go straight. You think God choreographed each person to do each movement, correct? Or am I misunderstanding that?
Yeah, well, I don't believe in God, but if you,
I know.
But if you believe, like for instance, under your worldview, where you said that God is all knowing and that his knowledge is perfect, I think that in your worldview, then yes, all those players are not choosing to tackle. They're not choosing to juke left or juke right. They're doing what God knows is going to do. They think they're choosing to juke left. They think they're freely choosing it, but they're not. It's an illusion. Like God knows that Saquon Barkley is going to juke left. So Saquon Barkley can't freely choose to juke right. He will juke left. He has to. If he were to juke right, that would make God wrong about his knowledge.
I hear exactly what you're saying, and I see where you are coming from. I just see it from a Christian, from the perspective of, you are absolutely right in the fact of Saquon Barkley. He jukes left because he knows in his head, I'm going to dodge this player. I'm going to run left right now. You know, he knows in that very moment that's what he's going to do. God already knows the outcome of this, so God already knows he's going to juke left. But where you're coming from is, well, would that make God wrong if he juked right? The only thing is, God is. I'm going to use the same reference for the DVR because it's a simpler concept, where God already has fast forwarded that DVR to know Saquon was going to juke left the whole entire time, you know. And
but he created the actions too, though. He created the actions.
He created the action of Saquon juking left, or am I?
Yes, God knows that Saquon is going to juke left before Saquon's even born. He created every action, every decision, every thought. His knowledge is perfect.
I don't think so. I think there might be a difference there. I don't think God created the action specifically. I think he knew about the action. I don't think God. So I personally don't believe God.
At what point did he know about the action?
At what point did God know about the action?
Yeah, are you saying God didn't know? God didn't know about the action until he saw it happen?
No. I personally believe God has always known about the action. God already knows that a person is going to murder somebody before it happens. God already knows that there's going to be these situations that play out in life, these unfortunate events that play out before it happens. God already knew that Jesus was going to go to the cross and die a brutal death before it happened, you know. That's why he was sweating blood, you know. And there's a lot of things that, you know, I still question nowadays, you know. But sorry, I don't want to get too far off the point that I was trying to make.
No, you're good.
But yeah, man. Overall, though, yeah, I just personally believe that God can. He's not calling each shot. He's not saying, like, Cody, I want you to go. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that again. Right at this very moment, I can choose right now to do evil or to do good. God already knows the outcome. You know, this very moment, I can choose to cuss you out because I'm like, you're wrong. Blah, 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 blah. But I can choose not to do that. God already knows the outcome of this conversation right now. You know, that's what I'm trying to say is I can feel conviction on my heart to choose. I'm going to choose good right now. I'm going to choose to go against what my flesh, what my heart's telling me, but I also know that my heart's deceitful. You know, I don't want to go and react in that negative way because there's going to be negative consequences. If I choose to murder somebody, there's going to be worldly consequences that happen with that. But, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
So, yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, that whole DVR reference, I just heard that years back.
I've heard it. I've heard it before too. But I like you said, I would just fundamentally disagree because I don't think that that's analogous because you're not the creator of the players' lives.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So,
all right, man. Well, hey, it was really good talking to you, brother.
And also, by the way, I'm a New York Giants fan, so fuck Saquon Barkley. He's a traitor. He's a traitor. He left us. He went to the Eagles, and now I'm stuck with this worthless, useless Saquon Barkley jersey in my closet that, as a Giants fan, you can never wear.
If it helps, I'm a San Diego Charger fan, and when I say San Diego Charger, my heart still lies with San Diego, even though they're in LA.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know why we have so many Los Angeles teams. Like, go back to San Diego Chargers, please.
You know what? If they have a new owner, maybe, but we'll see what happens. But
I love Justin Herbert. I think I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, man. I think he's awesome.
He's huge, dude. Fantasy football teams, he is my go-to. So
yeah, I think he's going to be like one of the greats for sure.
I agree, brother. Well, hey, dude, I really appreciate the conversation. I love the fact that we can disagree but not blow up into an argument, because a lot of times people like what happened earlier in the podcast, you know, people get a little, they feel like they're wrong, they feel like they got called out, and then they just resort to saying irrational things. You know, I just don't think that's how
sometimes it's fun
for your viewership. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming up. I'm gonna drop you a follow, and feel free to come back up anytime you'd like to.
Sounds good. I'll follow you back, man. You have a good one. All right.
All right. You too. Thank you. So yeah, guys. Tap the screen, guys. Please double tap the screen. Click the follow button, guys. This is my backup account. My main account is suspended. What else? Yeah. Fuck Saquon Barkley. But yeah, that was a good conversation. W guest. Hello?
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What do you mean by all-knowing? I'm trying to understand what that concept is.
I guess the definition would be knowing the past, the present, and the future, knowing all things, I guess.
So would knowing all the past be all-knowing?
Just the past?
Just the past, which is...
I don't think that would fall into the definition of all-knowing.
Because the quantum uncertainty principle says that you can't predict from the past.
Yeah, I don't know
what
what
a superposition is going to be of two atoms, right?
I don't know what that even means. You're talking way above my scientific knowledge right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just that you can't go backwards from the future, right? Like
you can't go backwards from the future.
Right, entropy. Like things always get more disordered. You can never get back to a previous state from where you are.
Not even God?
Well, that's the question. Does the idea of God force that question to be true? Because if it's an all-knowing God, that means that, the past and future are set. They're not...
Yeah, I guess if your position is that God only knows the past and the present and not the future, I don't think that would classify or fall into the definition of being all-knowing. Because I think when most people say my God's all-knowing, they mean that He knows all past, present, and the future, everything, to the end of time, the beginning and the end of whatever,
Right, but the concept of free will means that there is not one path to the future, right?
I don't even know if I'm still I don't even know if I have free will or not. I'm still looking into that. I know there's the argument to be made that you're not actually choosing things, you're actually being influenced by chemical reactions in your brain and your surroundings, and so I'm still agnostic on if we even have free will at all, regardless of God or theology,
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that there's no such thing as free will.
That's what I kind of I'm leaning towards that too. I'm still here every now and then I'll start looking into it and doing a research, and then I'll find something else to read. But I kind of tend to lean more towards that too, because I feel you think you're freely choosing things. You think that you're going to go to Burger King, but it could be because you saw a commercial an hour ago about Burger King, and now you're oh, I'm going to go to Burger King. But you're being influenced. You're not choosing it. You're it's all being influenced.
And so that's a materialist position. It's the claim that there's no soul involved in your actions. That makes sense. Those two things are compatible. No free will. I just don't know that there's even a possibility logically of there being something that's all-knowing, that knows the future.
Yeah.
That seems improbable.
Yeah. Are you a Christian?
No, just wanted to talk about that point. Happy to let you go on and have some opposition.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have maybe 2 or 3 more guests, and then I'm gonna hop off of here. But I do appreciate you coming up, and I need to look into more about the entropy thing. I need to go study some more of that. Thank you for being up here. Oh, you dropped out. Okay, yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you, man. Let's get to maybe 2, maybe 3 more guests here, guys. Everyone tap the screen, guys. I really appreciate you all being here. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the donations on Cash App, guys. I really appreciate all of you. You guys really make this very fun to do. I wish I could go live longer. I don't see how, Justin, he goes live for 6 hours. I think if I have I usually go, I've gone pretty long before, but when it gets to 2.5 to 3 hours, it starts to get to be a lot. 4 hours is a lot. Hello?
Hey boss, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
You hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
All right, I just have a couple of questions. I was just watching live, and I'm using my friend's access because mine don't have that many people just yet. But I want to top on two things. If you go in the past, right, and you, like you just say, you feel to choose a different direction, do you think your future will be the same, or do you think it'll change?
It'll change, right? Like theoretically, if you go to the past and change one little thing, like let's like today I put this shirt on, but if I go back in time and put another shirt on, the future, like it could change everything, like the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah. So
one tiny little insignificant action could have like a huge ripple, like throughout the entire.
Right. So if life is set the way it's supposed to be, won't you think, is it set where we go in the past and if we can change something, then our future is set differently? If you don't feel like God would know how that's going to go, or do you choose that as free will?
Hold on 1 second. I apologize. Let me let my dog inside. It's hot outside. He's like, trying to come in. I forgot he was out there. Just give me 1 second. All right, I apologize for cutting you off. Go ahead and start with what you were saying again.
So we were talking about if, the free will thing. So we go in the past and we change a little thing, just like your shirt and stuff like that. Our future is now different, correct?
Yeah, I would say that theoretically, yeah, that's true. Like one little action could change everything.
So what? So is that our free will, or that is set? That's as our life is set.
I don't know. I don't really know if I have free will or not. I don't know if you heard me speaking to the last guy. Like I'm still not really sure. Like I don't even know if we know if time travel is possible or not. Theoretically.
Yeah, and another thing. So, like you talk about, you don't know if you have free will or not. If God is all like, if God did not give us free will to let us, do you think that God would enjoy murder and all this, the sinful things, when it says that God cannot look beyond sin, so he had to turn his back on his only son?
Well, I don't know if the Christian God necessarily enjoys it, but I know he does it.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't know the Bible, and he had it's a lot of parts that he had like wrath, and the man flooded the earth. So, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. So when it comes into him flooding the earth, that it was so much wickedness in the world that he had to flood the earth. That's the point of he giving people free will, that they can choose to be wicked and go against God. As in people, atheists, whatever, you choose to do your free will on TikTok right now. You choose to go against everything that you feel that you don't believe in God. So you choose to do that, correct?
I don't know. I don't know if regardless of God, even let's just take God out of the whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I have free will. All of my decisions, all of my thoughts could be influenced by my surroundings, chemical reactions in my brain. I don't know. I'm still kind of doing my own research into that. I'm tending to lean towards more that I don't have free will, that you're not actually choosing things, but I don't have a solid position on that yet.
Okay. All right. Another thing I wanted to bring up, because I think since I have watched a lot of people, I think we basically touch bases on it, each corner of the free will thing. The slavery, God supports slavery. That's where we at right now. It is. Let me show you. It's Samuel 10. So I'm doing a rough draft. You can read it yourself. It's Samuel 10. It's when God has spoke to the people and to ask him to follow him as king, or this will happen if you choose not to. Your sons and daughters, he will take your sons and make them servants in his horses, and they will run in front of his carriage. Basically, I'll let you read it yourself because I'm going to hold you up. I know you got a couple more people you want to put on. This basically talks about when God this is beforehand when he spoke and gave us warning as we choose choose as humans and not him as king, we will be we will become slaves, and it will be passed down their children and their children and their children.
So you agree with me that God does support slavery?
I'm not saying that God supports slavery. God have gave us warnings, just like our parents. Hey, if you go date this person,
does God ever say? Hey, did God ever tell the Israelites don't own people as slaves?
See, the thing is, that's the point where free will comes in. God gave them free will. Asked them to choose me as king, or if you do not choose me as king,
God said.
Hold on, give me a second. He laid out what will happen to generations after generations if they choose this path. This is a free will that he has done, that he has given these people the option to, hey, choose me or this. If you choose this, I'm letting you know what's going to go down. I'm letting you know it's generations and children's and what's going to go down. So,
okay, so when God, I asked you, did God ever tell the Israelites to not own slaves? And you said, well, it's because they have free will, right? Well, there's all kinds of things that God commanded the Israelites to not do. For example, God commanded the Israelites to not eat shellfish. So where's the importance of their free will come into play there? God commanded them to not wear mixed fabrics. God commanded them to not disobey their parents. God said, don't eat shellfish. God could have also said, and I command you to not own people as property for life. But he never does that. He never does that. In fact, the opposite. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing.
The opposite. God gave very specific rules and instructions and regulations to the Israelites on how to practice slavery. Your God 1,000% supports slavery and never condemns it. Throughout the entire Bible, he never condemns slavery. How can you sit there and say God doesn't support slavery?
When God, just like a parent, when a parent tells you not to do something, or this can happen to you, and you choose to do it. Say that your parents or somebody tell you not to do this, and you do it.
You agree God supports it. You agree that God supports it.
You give me a second. I'm gonna get to that part. I promise you. When your parents tell you not to do something, or a person tell you not to do something, you go ahead and do it, and then you end up in jail. The only choice that they have to help you out is put money on your books, do this and this and this, because you put yourself in positions that you cannot get out of. So let's go to what you just said. When God, yes, it's a lot of parts in when God talks about slavery, and the best way to treat a slave, you do not return a slave, and you should not beat or disrespect your slave. Yes, he already talked about that.
Exodus 21:20-21, you are allowed to beat your slave with a rod. If your slave dies, you will be punished. If your slave does not die, you will not be punished, since that slave is your property. You are allowed to beat your slave with a rod.
When it comes to I'm just saying, I'm not saying that he didn't, but it's the warning that he gave at the beginning of before slavery was a thing. And when slavery was happening, it was said that this is why I believe in God, because it was said, if you know your Bible, it was said right then and there when we had American slaves, or we would talk about the slavery even in our generation, so far down the road, and the things that has been talked about now is happening now.
So you agree with me that God supports slavery?
Huh?
You agree with me that God supports slavery?
The thing is, I agree that I have read things about when God, I actually can bring it up right now. I'm not going to bring it up because
God supports slavery. It's easy. It's very simple.
I believe that God gave warnings to us, and we choose this to obey, and the consequences that we had is
he supports using slavery. He supports using slavery as a form of punishment for people who don't listen to him.
Okay, yeah. If it's God, he's one. Like it says in the Bible, don't choose no other God before me. If you do, because I am a jealous God. So, and then he destroyed a town. He is a rightful God. He's supposed to be a fearful God. That's what I do know.
Okay, so we agree now that God does support slavery.
And I want to put this out here. Yeah, I want to put this out there. It is a reason why it's the Old Testament and New Testament. And if you pay attention and you read,
God's morality never changes. So if God thinks that slavery is morally permissible then he still thinks it's morally permissible now. God never changes. Your God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. His morality never changes.
The thing is, if you believe that, he will not let his son die on the cross. His only begotten son, those who believe him not should not perish but live eternal life. He will not have sent a bridge where we can have and enter the gates of heaven and have eternal life. If he did not love us, he would not do that. He was
Jesus God.
So,
Is Jesus God?
Jesus is Jesus, his son.
Is he God?
No, he's not God.
Do you worship Jesus?
Yes.
Why do you not worship God?
I worship. You worship. Most people believe that Jesus is God, and God is Jesus. He does speak that he said, "I'm my Father, and then my Father's in me." So he's basically he is the bridge. So when you say
how many entities do you worship?
I worship God and Jesus.
You worship two things. You worship
the Holy and the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. Yes, the Holy Spirit.
So you worship three things.
No, God is the Holy Spirit. Keep going.
Jesus is God, right?
Huh?
Jesus is God.
Let's say that, because when he speaks that God is in my Father's and my Father's in me, that when you worship God, you basically worship Jesus as well. That's why when you go into a church, it's a cross that you see.
Yeah. So is Jesus God or not? I'm confused.
I believe that they both is in the same, but some people believe that God is Jesus and Jesus is God. I honestly just believe that Jesus is Jesus and God is God. God created.
Are Jesus and God equal?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, well, if Jesus and God are equal, then that means he's God. He's equal to God, so he is God. So if Jesus is God, then I don't care about the Old Testament or the New Testament. If Jesus is God, that means he's the God of the entire Bible. And God, Jesus, a.k.a. God's morality never changes. So if God thinks that slavery is morally permissible back then, he still thinks it's morally permissible still morally permissible now. And if Jesus is God, then Jesus also thinks that slavery is morally permissible.
So you're saying that
slavery is still condoned.
What I'm not going to let you do, boss. I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth, because when you say Jesus is God, and I told you people believe that. I believe that Jesus is Jesus and God is God. That's what I said.
I asked you if Jesus was equal to God. You said yes.
When God sent his only begotten son, he made the bridge for all of us to make it into heaven to have eternal life. We will not have eternal life without Jesus. That's why he is the New Testament. He talks about love thy neighbor, and when you read back, it's mostly rap that you basically read. God is Almighty, yes. God created all things, yes, but he built that bridge so we can have eternal life. That's what I'm talking about.
Is Jesus equal to God?
I believe that Jesus is God equal. Yeah, I don't think that.
So if Jesus is equal to God, then he's God.
No.
So how many different beings?
Who is God?
Beings do you worship?
Who is God? Do you know?
Imaginary.
So you don't know. Just say you don't know. Saying he's imaginary.
Well, I don't even know I don't even know what the definition of God is.
Right. So if Jesus,
how many different entities?
So when they speak about God, and then they speak about Jesus in the Bible, do you think they're the same people if they're speaking about different people in the Bible?
I don't know. I would say that most people would say that, or most Christians would say that Jesus is God.
Well,
you said Jesus was equal to God, so
because I worship them as equals.
So how many different beings do you worship?
Beings, no. First of all, God is not a being. God is all knowing. He's the light. That's why when he spoke through a burning bush. Now, when Jesus walked the earth, I will feel like Jesus is a being because he walks the earth. He has healed. He has basically did miracles.
Okay, so but I think we're kind of getting off track here a little bit. You worship the God of, like in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right?
Yes.
Is that Jesus, or is that's not
God?
Jesus? That's God, and you worship that God, right?
Yes.
Okay, that God supports slavery, and we agree.
You know, I will have to look more into that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will look more into that. But from what I have read, and
your God fully supports slaves being owned for life and beaten with a rod. You are allowed to go and get foreigners from outside of the nation of Israel, and you can even take children as slaves, and you can own them for life, and you can pass them on to your children when you die. You can make slaves of them, and you're allowed to beat them with a rod as long as they don't die.
So, of the consequences of when he spoke from the beginning, and we chose not to follow him as king, do you think if we went the other direction, do you think we have be slaves or have our ancestors slaves?
I'm not sure exactly what you're asking me here.
I'm asking that if we listen to God, and he said, if we follow God as king instead of following another king, a body king, a human king, do you think we will be in the same as slavery? Will that part be written?
I'm confused. I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm confused. Do you think that if the people had followed God, are you asking me, do I think that if the people had followed God that there would be slavery?
Will it still be slavery if people follow God? Have followed God?
Yes, because the Israelites followed God, and he told them they're allowed to go and own slaves.
No, they follow the king. That's why you have to read that part. They follow the king. That's why in history,
the Israelites were God's chosen people.
There's history. It is spoken to have kings. And
the Israelites were God's chosen people.
When did the Israelites come into the Bible?
He freed them from slavery out of Egypt, and then he sent Moses to free his chosen people out of slavery from Egypt. And then Moses went up on top of a mountain, and God spoke. I
don't want to run it too long, but so when you said Egypt, did they not have kings in Egypt?
Yeah, they had kings in Egypt.
And so my point is that they already made their decision to follow kings instead of him. That's
the Israelites were slaves in Egypt.
Yes, they were slaves in Egypt.
And
they made their choice.
God sent Moses to free them, and then he turned around and told them, now you are free. If you want to own slaves, you must go to the foreign nations around you. From them you may get slaves. You may own them for life, even children as slaves. In Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, it says he told the Israelites they can go and get slaves.
So when it says, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Isaiah asks for a king as when Samuel... I want you to read that part. I know you wrote parts down when that one guy came on and said, read Romans, this and this and this.
What is it? I'll write it down. I'll read it here, like after I end the live stream. What is it?
Samuel.
Okay.
You can start from
First Samuel.
Yeah. 1 Samuel 8. You can read all the way down.
1 Samuel chapter
21.
8.
Yeah, the 21. It goes over all that
to 21. Okay, I'll read it. But yeah, your God supports slavery. I think we agree on that. Your God is a violent, bloodthirsty maniac, sir. Your God commanded the Amalekite babies to be unalived. Your God commanded little virgin girls be captured and sold as brides to his soldiers. Your God flooded the earth and drowned every baby and every pregnant woman on earth.
Yes. That's the Old Testament. It's the reason why it's the New Testament. It's the reason why he sent his only
still your God. Son. It's still
yes, it is my God. It's just like a parent. It's when you
so your God is a bloodthirsty.
You get grounded. You get your ass. I'm sorry. You get your butt whooped. You get. It's so many consequences. But you dealing with
what do the Amalekite babies do?
A God.
What do the Amalekite babies do?
That is the consequence. You can literally.
Is your God just?
Our president just? Our president that we have in the United States of America that goes and kill plenty of children and stuff like that.
You're pivoting.
No, I'm not pivoting.
Is your God just?
I'm not pivoting. I'm going back to this. So when you talk about our president, is our president now evil? That makes us evil that we are leaders to a president now.
Is your God a just?
We don't see that. We don't see our president as that. They can do all this killing babies and killing kids, but we don't see that as that. So when we go to God,
he's absolutely
we see a person that we have disobeyed, and we are now being punished of that.
Is your God a just God? Is your God a?
I was reading. Say it again.
Is your God a just God?
Yes, my God is a just God.
So your all-loving, just God kills innocent babies.
Yes, my all God, just God did not just kill innocent babies. It was
when somebody innocent is punished. That's the complete opposite of justice.
Is we innocent when we don't believe in God?
So the Amalekite babies were guilty of what?
They was the parents was punished.
Yeah, so that's the complete opposite.
So a creator,
sir, when you punish an innocent child for something they didn't do, that is the complete opposite of justice.
He is God. He is the creator. He created what he has. When I draw a picture, I can erase or throw that paper away, correct?
Yeah.
So when God create his creation, he has the right to take it out. Has the right to remove it. He has the right to do what he want with his creation.
It's not justice.
But it doesn't matter but when he speaks that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, those who believe in him shall not perish but live eternal life. So when he speaks that he so loved the world, do you not catch that part? Or do we want to go back on the wrath of God? Because don't get me wrong, it wasn't a lot of wrath of God. I said that at the beginning of the conversation. It was a lot of wrath.
Would you consider when innocent babies are killed by God because of the sins of their parents? Would you consider that justice served?
When it comes to God, the Creator, yes. when it comes to
Christianity is a red flag.
Everything could be a red flag to you. It don't have to be Christianity
is a red flag.
It's something that you don't believe because you're not a creator. You're not God. You have not created anything. Do you have children?
Are all of God's commands good?
Do you have children?
Are all of God's commands?
You have children.
I don't feel comfortable answering that question. Are all of God's commands good and righteous?
Right there, you can't answer the question because you may not have children.
I don't want to talk about my personal life. Are all of God's commands good and righteous?
God's command is righteous, and when he has a plan, it goes into action. Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So all of God's commands are good and righteous. So in Numbers 31, when God commanded little virgin girls to be captured as brides, that was a good and righteous thing?
Well, can you say it again? Because when people say verses, they don't read the whole thing. They like to read half of it and then take what they like. Can you tell me that again?
Yeah, so it's Numbers 31, 17 through 18. God commanded little young virgin girls to be captured.
What's the name of the verse?
Numbers 31, 17 through 18.
You said Numbers?
Yeah. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 17 through 18. God said, kill all the boys and all the women who have had intercourse with a man. Only the young girls who are virgins may live. You may keep them for yourselves. And they captured 16,000 virgins, and they gave 32 virgins to God because God likes them young. God likes them young. God likes young virgins.
And what I want you to do, find something in the New Testament that basically says the same thing.
This is still your God, sir.
It is my God.
Yeah, so quit pivoting to the New Testament.
I'm not pivoting to the New Testament. You gave me something to do.
We're talking about your God.
I'm giving you something to do. It's not that I'm pivoting. I'm giving you something to do. Like you gave me something to do. It's not no pivoting. I'm listening to you.
What did I give you to do?
I'm reading. I asked you for that. What's the caller? Correct?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, I didn't tell you to go read it. I just told you the verse. I just read it for you. Numbers.
What was the number? You read a verse for me. Can you give me the whole thing again, please? Book number.
Numbers 31.
Numbers 31. Sorry.
17 through 18.
18.
And by the way, this is all good and righteous because you said everything God commands is good and righteous. So you think it was good and righteous when God commanded?
I feel that God always have a plan, no matter if you believe him or not.
Yeah, so you're a red flag. You are a red flag.
So you can call me a red flag if that makes you feel better. So the time that we are at now, at this moment in time, as we're having this conversation, this was supposed to happen regardless. Because if you believe
God is a violent, bloodthirsty psychopath that likes little young virgin girls.
Numbers 31.
They captured 16,000 virgins and they gave 32 of them to the Lord. God was like, yeah, give me some of them young virgins. I want some of them too. Can you read it out loud?
I'm trying to find your part that you read.
17 through 18.
I was way off. Slept with a man. So now kill all boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourself every girl who has never slept with a man. Anyone who has killed anyone or touched anyone who has killed must stay outside the camp 7 days. On the third days you must yourself and prefer every as well everything made as leader goat here and wood. The Lord. What, you don't have nothing to say?
Huh?
You don't have nothing to say?
Are you still reading?
Yes, I'm reading. I like to read everything instead of a certain part.
Well, would you like to read the entire book on my live, or do you want to leave and go read it, or what?
When would you be back on?
Tomorrow at 2:00.
Tomorrow at 2:00.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Put that actually in my time because I'm very busy.
2:00 Central Time. 3:00.
Oh shit! I'm on the East Coast, so good thing you said that.
3:00 for you.
3:00.
Just follow me though, because I'm not going to be hosting my live. I'm going to be joining another person's live. We're going to co-host. So if you don't follow me, it won't show you that I'm live.
Are you the co-host? Are you going to be one of those type of? Because I joined a lot of people and they like to jump instead of having 2 on 2.
No. I'm going to be co-hosting with Demi, and we don't do that. We'll keep it like if you want to talk to him or if you want to talk to me, we'll keep it one-on-one. I thought Joel was already a mod. Otter?
Bro said too busy to read the Bible. He's funny. All right.
Yeah. So just if you want,
I'm gonna see you at 2. But I'm gonna continue watching your what's it call it for. I don't know if you're jumping off right now.
Yeah, I got a couple more guests.
I'm gonna read it as I continue to watch this.
All right.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you coming up. All right, let's take another guest here. Like maybe 1 or 2 more guests, guys. Hello?
Hello. How are
you
we?
Doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good too, thank you.
It's good to hear. I was mainly interested in talking about you saying God supports slavery, which is a misnomer, to say the least.
Okay. Can you show me where God says don't own slaves?
Well, first we have to understand a quick distinction. Slavery is chattel slavery, meaning one owns somebody. What God does support is indentured
He supports chattel slavery.
He supports indentured servitude.
He supports both. So the indentured servitude is meant only for the Hebrew Israelites, but he supports chattel slavery for the foreign slave. So he tells in Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. Are you aware of that scripture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, God told the Israelites that if you want to own slaves for life, you can go outside of the foreign nations. From them you may get slaves. You may even get children as slaves. You can own them for life. You can pass them on to your children after you die. They will be your slaves forever. That's chattel slavery.
So something that you misunderstand is remissions domini, the Lord's release. It is not specific to Hebrews and is never listed as being specific to Hebrews. In fact,
the Hebrew slaves, you couldn't own them for life. You had to let them go
right, 7 years,
unless you give them a wife and the wife has kids. When it's time for the Hebrew slave to go free, the wife and the kids stay with you. And if the slave wants to keep his family, he has to devote himself to his master and let the master pierce his ear, and then he's owned for life.
Also, these people were not beaten as you would see in modern slavery. They were mainly.
It says you can beat them with a rod.
It says that you cannot break a tooth or blind them, or they must be set
That's
free.
for your Hebrew slaves.
No, it's never specific. It's when
it says you can beat them with a rod.
Slave.
In Exodus 21, 20 through 21 says you can beat your slave with a rod. If your slave dies from the beating, you will be punished. But if the slave does not die, you will not be punished.
And
So
if you read only a
basically,
little further, which
can
isn't
beat-
that hard, Exodus 21, 26 to 27, it says, if you strike the eye of a male or female
Yeah.
slave, destroying it, the owner shall let the slave go, a free person to compensate for the eye.
Yeah, so you could beat your slave, just don't knock their eye or tooth out.
Yes, do you think that is specific? I mean, if your comprehension is that low, then there's no point in having this debate. It's not being specific if it's an eye or a tooth. It's more vague as to do not be harsh.
It says you're allowed to beat your slave with a rod. You can't deny that.
I don't, and these are evil people. I mean,
This what? These are you're like if somebody sells himself into you for a debt, that's an evil person.
if somebody sells themselves to you, then I mean that's what they're accepting.
Yeah, but the person who sells themselves to you, like because they want to pay a debt off, you're allowed to beat them with a rod if you want to.
If they're aware of the expensive, then where's the problem? The expenses, then where's the problem?
So you have no problem with like being allowed to beat somebody who like owes you a debt.
If they agree.
How old are you? How old are you, Lucas?
I'm 18.
Okay. So what were you saying?
If that's what they agree to, then that's what they agree to. I don't really know what to tell you.
Well, but you can't sit there and say you're not allowed to beat your slave. You clearly are allowed to beat your slave.
You're not allowed to hurt them, though.
It says you can beat them, just don't knock their eye or tooth out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it says.
So you're allowed to beat your slave with a rod.
Yeah, I never disagreed with that. I said you're not allowed to hurt.
You said you're not allowed to beat your slave.
I said you're not allowed to hurt your slave.
It doesn't say you're not allowed to hurt them. It says you're not allowed to knock their tooth or eye out.
Do you
can
really
beat
think
them,
that's being that
you can
specific?
beat
There's
them.
really no point in having a debate here if you're
Well,
not
if you want to
gonna
run away,
admit-
run away. Go ahead.
There's no point in having the debate if you're not going to admit that.
If you want to run away, run away.
The Bible is both descriptive and prescriptive.
It says you can beat them with a rod, but don't knock their eye or tooth out, which means you can just beat them all over their back, beat them all over their legs, all over their arms. But if they die from the beating, huh? If they die from the beating, you will be punished. But if they don't die from the beating and they recover after a few days, then they will not be punished. So when it says don't knock their eye or tooth out, you can just literally beat your slave with a rod all over their back, all over their legs, all over their arms. That would be hurting them, sir. That would be hurting the slave. And I don't know if you swiped away from the app, we can't hear you. Lucas, we cannot hear you. Okay, he dropped out.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? I just want to say,
guys, you got to be 18 plus. Please be 18 plus, guys. Got to be 18 plus.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, first I'm gonna start off by saying, as far as the whole is Jesus God and is God Jesus, there's scriptures where Jesus literally tells you not to worship him, not to worship his body, to worship God, which indicates that they are not the same person.
Okay, that's fine. I don't really care. I don't believe in this shit.
Okay, but I'm letting you know because when
I don't care. Would you like to talk about one of these topics here?
Yeah, that's cool too. But let me finish.
Okay, you don't believe Jesus is God. Fine. I don't care.
Cool.
Whatever.
So, yes, the old, look, so you don't care. Don't try and revert this. The old God, the original God that we all can agree, the God you're talking about,
who's the new God?
I'm saying from the Old Testament. I was referring to the Old Testament when I said old.
So if there's an old God, who's the new God?
You're not listening. I wasn't referring old to there being a new one. Old reverts to the Bible of Old Testament.
You said the old God. Did you misspeak?
It was me just shorting the phrase of Old Testament. Just
okay.
Old, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is no old God. There, like the God of the Testament is still.
It's one God. Yes. Okay. Cool. So, Old Testament God.
What Old Testament God?
We just went over this. There's no way you're. There's no.
Wait. Old Testament God implies that there's another God.
Bro, we just went over this. We literally just went over this.
Is the Old Testament God the same as the New Testament God?
I just explained that. Like, come on, bro.
Hold on,
Like,
I'm trying to clarify this.
And did I not tell you already? Did you not pay attention?
Well, hold on, sir. When you say Old Testament God, that implies that there's another God.
Okay.
And is the Old Testament God the same as the New Testament God?
I already said it's one God. I'm just referring to the Old Testament.
But why are you saying Old Testament God? That implies that there's another God.
All right, bro. Word it how you want. There's one God. Okay. Do you get that?
Yeah, and that one God is the same God of the Old Testament and the New Testament, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right.
Okay, cool. You're right. God never changed his morals. He sees it all as wrong, and we all deserve whatever he sees fit. I can agree to that too. When he unalived us being humans, when he unalived humans by flooding because we deserved it. Why did we deserve it? Humans introduced sin into the world. You can
What about the
read
babies?
Genesis. It doesn't matter. Guess what? You know why it doesn't matter? Because the baby is along with the human race. As a race, we offended God from sinning in the first place, allowing the devil into this world to have a control. You know, it even calls the devil a god with the lowercase g. You says that the devil is the god of this world. You know why?
Can we address like one of these topics specifically?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to all that. I'm just beating you at your own game, because what you do is you let these people go into these topics without explaining themselves properly. Then you run them back around the same circle.
Can you stop crying and pick a topic to talk about?
OMG. Okay. Christianity is not a red flag. Let's go with that one.
Okay, I believe it's a red flag, and I'll demonstrate that for you right now. Okay.
Okay.
Do you believe that every command from God is good and righteous?
Every command from God is his will. I believe that, as from a human standpoint, that regardless of how you look at it, is not humanely correct.
Is every command from God good and righteous?
You could say that. For God standing, like from God's point of view, yes.
Okay. So when in 1 Samuel 15:3, when God commanded that the Amalekite babies be killed, that was a good and righteous command?
Yes. As to why?
So you're a red flag because you think it's good and righteous to kill babies.
Okay, that's your personal opinion.
Well, yeah, it's my opinion, yeah, but that's why I think Christianity is a red flag.
I'm going to give you the facts, and using what we're referring to, which is the Holy Bible, as it says at the top, correct? So we're referring to the Holy Bible to justify and correct what's being said in this conversation, correct? Okay, so as far as Christianity being a red flag, why is it not a red flag? Did those things make him correct in a human point of view? No. As far as his point of view, so now you have to think outside of you being your own quote unquote God, because that's what you see yourself as. When you don't see that there's another God above yourself, you take God's power and put it in your own hands. Now you're seeing it as, because I see this as wrong.
What are you even talking about now? What are you even talking about? You're just yapping.
Okay, you're not listening. It's real simple.
Would you always follow every command from God because it is good and righteous?
From a human standpoint, no. From God's standing point, yes. You would
disobey a command from God?
Never. If God told me to do something, it's for a reason. I would do it.
Okay.
It might not be right.
So if God revealed himself to you in a way that you were absolutely certain that it was him and commanded you to go to your neighbor's house and sexually assault their child.
But you know why he would never do that, though?
Wait, he did in Numbers 31, 17 through 18, he did.
But okay, and that was Old Testament. Now let me...
But your God never changes.
Okay, but guess what? He still sees that. So
you would follow that command.
So, okay, but now let's go, because see what you just proved my point. You remember how I told you that Jesus and God are not the same, and there's a reason why. Okay, so now
you would follow that command though, because every command from God is good and righteous.
I wouldn't though.
So you would disobey a command from God.
Listen. God would never tell me to do that, because even though he still sees what we're doing,
prove that God would never command this to you.
Bro, he literally says, he's never going to put you to do anything that's going to harm you. Everything he does is to prosper.
No, he's not talking about, I'm not saying that God's going to command you to harm yourself. In Numbers 31, 17 through 18,
way.
God commanded soldiers to go and capture little young virgin girls.
Okay.
So and that's a good and righteous command by God in your worldview. And if God commanded you to do that, you would do that.
Opposite. I said the exact opposite. From a human's point of view, that's wrong. From God's point of view, it's right. You never let me explain that, so you don't get it.
But would you follow that command?
If I was born back in that day, yes, I would. You know
So
why?
Christianity is a red flag. You're a red flag.
Okay, but I'm not born back in that day.
If God commanded you to go and capture a young virgin girl, you would do it.
If I was born back, am I born in that time? No. Okay.
Why is it okay back then but not now?
Okay, perfect question. Great question, and I'm going to answer. The reason why it was good back then is because Jesus Christ didn't come yet. There was no coming of Christ. So therefore, there was nothing to correct what you had done that was wrong. And on top of that,
what does this have to do with you disobeying God?
That's not disobeying God, because in today's time, Jesus Christ came already, and God would never tell me to do that.
How do you know God would never tell you to do this?
He would never do or tell me to do something that will put me in harm's way. His plans are to only prosper me. It says that in His word.
God, you can't sit there. You can't sit there and say that God would never command this because God has already.
I can, though, because that was after Christ already came. I live in today's time where Christ already came, and referring off of what we're going based off the Holy Bible. Because Christ came, He would never put me through something that's going to harm me.
So you're saying God can't command this to you today?
He wouldn't. No. As long as you.
No, I'm asking you. Are you saying God can't command it?
No, He definitely can, but He wouldn't.
Okay, He can do it. So if He
can do anything, He could strike me dead and you right here, right now.
Yeah.
But you know why He won't? Because He has love, mercy, and He's forgiving.
No, sir. Your God is a raging, violent psychopath. He's not merciful.
Guess what?
Your God is pro. Your God loves. Your God kills babies. Your God is pro pedophilia.
And look. You, Old Testament. You are absolutely right. But you know what happened?
Why do you get down on your knees and worship a God that's a pedophile?
You know what happened is something called.
Why do you worship a pedophile?
So you're not even letting me. You lost. You're not even letting me explain.
Why do you worship a pedophile?
You're not even. You lost, and you know you lost. But it's okay. I'm trying to.
Sir,
God still loves you.
Sir, you said that you would capture a young virgin girl if God commanded you to back then. I think you lost. I think you were the one who lost here.
Okay, but am I born back then? No. So therefore,
that's irrelevant. You said you would do it.
I won. You know why? But guess what? The reason I would do it is real simple.
You proved my point that Christianity is a red flag. You proved my point.
Your point is still wrong because we're not back in that time. So either way,
but if you were, you would do it.
But guess what? It doesn't matter because I wasn't. It doesn't matter. You know why I wasn't?
The only thing that matters. The only thing that matters to me is that you said you would do it.
God's will is that I was born in today's time to explain to you that Jesus Christ came. And
why do you worship a pedophile? Explain that to me.
Look, see you're going.
You just keep preaching, dude. You just keep preaching. Like,
do you not want me to preach to you? Do you not want to know that Jesus loves you?
This isn't church, bro. This isn't church.
Look, you lost. It doesn't
How did I lose? What? Tell me what I lost at.
It doesn't matter. You lost.
Give me the argument that defeated me. Give me the argument. Tell me the argument.
Real simple. The argument that defeated you is that God created a new way for people to be saved and to repent against what they were doing, so He no longer has to.
You're just preaching. You're just preaching. That's not an argument. That's preaching.
Let me finish. He made a new way so that He no longer has to continue to do those things.
You're just preaching still.
To do back then. He no longer has to.
Tell me the argument that defeated me.
I just did.
No, you just preached.
Okay, God supports slavery. God is not merciful. The Bible is silly. All-knowing / free will is a problem. All of that.
Would you like to discuss one of these topics?
We just did. I'm going over.
No, we didn't even go over. We didn't even go over the all-knowing free will or God supporting slavery.
All of those no longer matter because Jesus Christ came. Jesus Christ He came to earth and made all that disappear, so God never has to do any of those things again.
Sir, Jesus Christ said that none of the law will change until the heavens and the earth pass away. None of that has happened yet. So these all still apply.
But if you're talking about spiritual, there's already been a spiritual death, which was Jesus Christ. He died spiritually.
No, he said not one law from the Old Testament will change until the heavens and the earth have passed away. None of that has happened.
Bro, what are you? He was referring to Jesus Christ, a spiritual death.
Jesus said that has the heaven and the earth passed away?
Heaven came down to earth when Jesus Christ came here. And Jesus Christ was
I'm not convinced
earth.
I'm not convinced you know what you're talking about either.
Jesus Christ was heaven on earth. He came from heaven and came down to earth.
Jesus Christ was a man.
Bro, no but
how was he heaven on earth? How was he heaven on earth?
He came what was Jesus Christ? He was a man, right?
He was a man that ran his mouth.
But guess what? The Son of
and
God,
got himself
right?
crucified.
But the Son of God, right?
Yeah, but he's just a man, though.
And what is God? God is the creator of heaven, right?
God is a raging, violent psychopath.
Oh, but what is he also? He's a loving God.
He's also imaginary.
God. He's also
imaginary. Imaginary.
Look, where in the Bible does it say he's imaginary? Because we're going.
The
based
Bible
off the
is
Holy
full.
Bible.
The Bible is not. The Bible is
going based off the Holy Bible. You have that at the top of your live, which is what we're referring to go based off the rest of these conversations. Correct?
Yeah, but I don't believe any of this stuff actually happened.
So where in the Holy Bible does it say he's imaginary? Whatever you're gonna tell me, it has to come out the Bible. If not, don't say it.
Why do all my arguments have to come from the Bible?
Because your claim is based off the Holy Bible. You're using the Bible to debunk God. But yet
no, I'm not.
You're not. But yet every time you go to prove that God supports slavery, he's not merciful.
God does support slavery.
But guess what? What do you do to prove that? You go to the Bible, correct?
Well, this is called an internal. It's an internal critique.
We're going to use the Bible to prove.
It's an internal critique, sir.
Said.
Like, do you know what an internal critique is,
bro? But do
you know what? Can you just tell me what an internal critique is?
Okay, cool. You're critiquing something based off your own thought, whatever.
No. What is an internal critique?
Okay, bro, I just broke that down in something.
No,
simple.
he didn't. The point is that you believe all this.
These things. Dude, you're using the Holy Bible to prove these things to be true, correct?
No, I don't
believe.
You
literally did. You okay?
Real. I don't believe this stuff, but you do. So I'm bringing Christians on my live to question the things that they believe. I don't know what you're even talking about here.
And what are you using to question them? The Bible, correct?
Their Bible.
Okay, then. So keep it focused on the Bible. That's
okay, fine.
And in the Bible, it doesn't say God.
Okay, fine. We'll keep it on the Bible. Okay. You saying that God doesn't support slavery?
I never said that. God definitely did. He did. And look,
God is merciful. You think?
He very much is. That's why.
So when he killed innocent babies, that was merciful.
Of course not. But when he sent Jesus Christ, that was him showing.
So God's not merciful.
You're not listening. Okay, bro. So let me put it.
When God killed innocent babies, was that merciful? You said, of course not. So God's not merciful.
But okay, so just because, so you mean to tell me, because you cursed out, let's say name something that's bad that you have done in your life, because you're not perfect.
What are you pivoting to?
Have you stolen? Have you stolen?
What are you pivoting to right now?
Have you stolen from a store?
What is this pivot? Why are you pivoting?
Anyways, point is,
why are you pivoting from the God is not merciful?
One time? Just because you do something one time does not mean that you are now that substance. Meaning, just because I smoke weed one time does not make me an automatic.
God didn't kill babies just one time.
Oh, but he sent Jesus Christ. Even if I smoke weed twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10.
It's still your God.
Okay,
God is not merciful. You agreed. So when God killed babies, was that merciful? I never said he
wasn't merciful. I said what he did wasn't merciful. Meaning at that point in time.
Yeah, so he's not merciful.
That's not what that means. Just because
if God was merciful, he wouldn't do unmerciful things.
That's not true. It's not true.
Really? So a person that is merciful can do unmerciful things?
Yes, it's called having multiple.
You're not making any sense.
Okay, first off, wait. If you're a person that tells the truth, but you can also lie, correct?
Why are you pivoting?
It's not a pivot. It's literally
explain to me how God is merciful, but he does unmerciful things.
I'm about to. He did unmerciful things because Jesus Christ wasn't on earth yet. That's why.
Explain how God is merciful, but he does unmerciful things.
He did let me finish. He did unmerciful things because Jesus Christ wasn't here.
Yeah, I know this. I know God did unmerciful things.
But to show mercy, he sent us Jesus Christ, and he no longer does any of those things. That's
so how is God merciful when he does unmerciful things?
I just said it.
No, you didn't. You just preached about Jesus.
Bro, are you bro, you're slow. Me debunking what you're saying, you're calling it preaching about Jesus.
Sir,
when every time I prove
you said
wrong,
God is merciful.
Every time I prove you wrong, you say, bro, you're just preaching about Jesus.
Yeah, you said God is merciful, and I asked you to explain how God is merciful, even though He does unmerciful things, and you just started talking about Jesus. So how is God merciful when He does unmerciful things?
Who sent Jesus Christ?
This is your argument. That's your argument right now. God's merciful, but He does unmerciful things. That's your argument.
Okay, so now let me ask you this.
God is merciful, but He does unmerciful things.
Who sent Jesus Christ?
Why do you keep preaching about Jesus?
Jesus Christ here.
Why do you keep preaching about Jesus?
Because that's literally that's the point of the Bible. Did you miss everything else?
So you're just going to completely skip over how God is merciful, but He does unmerciful things.
I never skipped. I literally said, God sent Jesus Christ as an act of mercy.
So how is killing your son merciful?
Him killing his son to save you. It's a sacrifice. When I get up every morning and I go to work, I'm sacrificing.
So God is okay with human sacrifice?
Bro, literally.
Just like when they sacrificed the little virgin girls to God in Numbers 31?
Okay. You're going back to what I already said. That's the Old Testament.
Yeah, but it's still your God.
But when He sent Jesus Christ, his actions became new. He doesn't do any of that.
So you don't follow anything in the Old Testament at all?
I follow the one rule of trying to live my life as close to Jesus Christ as possible.
So you don't follow the Ten Commandments?
The Ten Commandments, bro, once Jesus Christ came, there are no more 10, there's none of that. It literally, he basically rewrote history.
So there's no more God because Jesus came?
Who said that?
You said that because Jesus came, there's no more Old Testament.
Okay, so there's no more of what God was applying before. So just because your mom stops hitting you, now that's not your mom anymore. Once you grow up, let's say your mom, as punishment, she took your game away until the age of 10. Once you hit 10, she stopped taking your game away. Now that's not your mom anymore.
I don't even know what this analogy is.
The analogy is the fact that just because one stops doing something does not mean that who they are stops.
You said that when Jesus came, there is no Old Testament. So does that mean, does that include...
None of the rules apply anymore.
Does that include, not even commandment number 1? Don't worship any other God before me?
None of that. You know why that doesn't apply? Because Jesus already told us, don't worship any God but God. Jesus said that too. So what's your point here?
Well, actually, Jesus also said that none of the old law will fall away until the heavens and the earth pass away.
And he was talking about his spiritual death.
He didn't say that. You're adding that.
I'm not, bro. That's literally...
He didn't mention anything about spirits. He just said the heavens and the earth.
Let me ask you this. You understand Jesus spoke in metaphors, right?
So when Jesus said love one another, that was a metaphor?
How else can you interpret love one another?
Was that a metaphor?
How else can you interpret that?
Or is that literal?
How else could that have been interpreted? Love one another. How else can you interpret that?
Is that literal or a metaphor?
Literal. How else can it be interpreted?
Okay. When Jesus said...
There's no other way to interpret that.
Okay. When Jesus says love one another, that's literal. There's no other way to interpret that, right?
Okay.
In Luke 14:26, when Jesus says to hate your children in order to follow me, was that literal?
When did he say that?
Luke 14:26.
Okay, I'm about to actually... Hold on, because I have a physical Bible.
That was literal, right? When Jesus said to hate your children to follow me, that was literal.
Actually, do you have one with you? Because my Bible is in my car. So
no, I'm not going to read your Bible for you.
Okay, I'll go get the Bible. That's not a problem.
Yeah, go get your Bible and come back.
Look, I'm not going to leave the live. My car's right outside. Hold on.
Okay, hurry up. Guys, spoiler alert. When Jesus says to hate your children, that's a metaphor. But when Jesus says love one another...
We're about to see exactly what he said.
When Jesus says love one another, how else could you interpret that? That's literal, right? But when Jesus says to hate your children, that's a metaphor.
Hold on. We're going to see. Because, again, I don't ever remember Jesus saying that. In Luke? Yeah, no. I've never even heard of that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have the Bible with me right here. Physical Bible, King James. And you said Luke
Luke 14:26.
Luke 14:26. Okay. I see. Luke 14.
It says you must hate your parents, you must hate your wife, your husband, hate your children, you must hate your own life in order to follow him.
Okay, I'm getting to Luke 14. And what was it? Luke 14 what?
26.
26. All right, I'm about to read the I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Just
was that literal or metaphor?
Yeah, can I read it? 1 second.
Can you read it out loud?
All right, I'm starting from the beginning of 14.
What does 26 say?
Bro, you go to one part of the Bible without reading the whole. Like, you can't do that. I mean, you can.
Bro, what does it say? What does it say?
Okay, if any man come to me and not hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Okay.
Was that literal or metaphor?
I promise you, he meant that 110%. But this is what he meant.
So Jesus contradicts himself then.
Hold on. This is what he meant by it. For you to give up your old life, meaning like if whatever.
No, he says to hate your children.
Bro, he's referring to your like whatever you had, because I already read some of it, and.
So when Jesus says love one another, it literally means that. But in Luke 14:26, when Jesus says to hate your children, that's not what it means. How convenient. How fucking convenient for you.
Bro, I literally just said he meant that he was talking to the
so if he
people
meant that, then Jesus contradicts himself. Jesus contradicts himself because he says love one another, and then he turns around and says to hate your fucking kids. So Jesus is contradicting himself.
You're not listening. He literally said that referring to whatever your old life was. You must hate everything that was in your previous life.
You're adding that.
I'm literally reading the rest of the words, bro.
It says to hate your kids.
You know why I'm adding that? Because it says that. It
doesn't.
So
it says to hate your parents.
You must turn from your ways. You must turn from your wicked ways. As I'm literally looking at it.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
Bro, in the okay.
Show me the verse where it says turn from your wicked ways.
Hold on, I'm about to read it right now.
It doesn't say that.
Okay.
It doesn't say to turn from your wicked ways. It says to hate your parents, hate your wife and your husband, hate your children.
That's only for 26. You understand? 14 is.
Show me the verse where it says to hate. That it means show me where it says he means to turn away from your wicked ways.
Hold on, I'm literally reading.
Go read your Bible, dude. Go read it,
bro.
Go study your Bible, dude. All right, guys, that's gonna be it, man. That's gonna be it. I've been live for almost 3 hours now, so if you guys have enjoyed this live stream, please click the follow button, guys. This is my backup account. Go follow my main account, Skits&bits. That's my main account. I'm suspended on there, but this is my backup account. So also, if you enjoy the live stream, if you want to watch the full live stream, go follow my YouTube. The link is in the bio, and go follow me on there. Go subscribe to my YouTube. I have a ton of my full live streams on there, guys. I really appreciate all the gifts today. Thank you guys for the donations on Cash App. I really appreciate you. W. Bruce in the comments again for the $20 on Cash App. And thank you for the $6.66 on Cash App. I really appreciate you guys. This has been a fun live stream. I might be doing Skits Loves God later here in a few hours or so. If I feel like it, probably will. But again, if you guys have enjoyed this content, please go subscribe to my YouTube. The link's in the bio. If you want to watch the full live stream, the entire live stream, I'll post it on there in just a couple of hours. And I have a ton of my full live streams on there. I get some pretty fucking wild guests. Anyone in the comments can tell you that I get some wild guests on there. in my live streams. So go check out my live streams if you're looking for something new to listen to while you're at work or while you're driving or, you know, cleaning or whatever. If you guys are looking for something new to like binge watch, please go check my YouTube out. Go follow me on YouTube. It's so funny how when Jesus says to love one another, that literally is what it means. There's no other way to interpret that. It literally means to love one another. But when Jesus says to hate your kids, well, that's not what it means. It means to turn from your wicked ways. And that, no, it's just the cherry picking is unbelievable. Unbelievable cherry picking. And he also said that if he was living back then, if God commanded him to go and capture a little young virgin girl, he would do it. He said he would do it. And then he's going to sit here and tell me that he's not a red flag. I mean, come on, dude. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys later. If you guys want to check out Demi, if you guys know Demi, me and Demi are going to be co-hosting a live tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock Eastern. So if you guys want to check us out over there, it's going to be on Demi's platform. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, appreciate you guys. I guess I could take a couple of questions. Let's do some questions. Let's do a Q&A here. Do I still have my Q&A thing here? Do you guys have any questions for me in the comments? Go ahead and ask some questions. Just get off? Yeah, I should just get off. I'm about to just get off. But we can listen to some, take some questions here if you guys want to. Why is God God? Because God is God. Duh. Always remember that. God is God. Show us your dog. Come here, Champ. Champ, come here. Come here, Champ. He's sleeping. He's lazy. Favorite band ever? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Probably like my top 3 or top 4 would probably be the Beatles, Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, and Boston. Probably like top 4. Boston is so underrated. Boston is like my favorite. Boston is the shit. If you guys are musicians, if you appreciate musicianship, if you haven't listened to Boston, go listen to Boston. They fucking jam. Boston fucking rocks. I feel like listening to Boston right now. You know what, guys? You gotta hear Boston, guys. You guys gotta fucking hear Boston. This is my favorite Boston song. This fucking song fucking rocks. Rush is good too. I like Rush. What's your favorite food? Steak. You saw them in concert twice? Damn. You fucking jam. More Than a Feeling, yeah. This is my favorite Boston song. A man I'll never be. Just listen to the vocals right here, guys. Just the vocals right here. Listen to this. Damn. Good chant. Good chant. Good chant. Good chant. All right, that's my favorite. Wait, you gotta wait for the main guitar solo. Wait for the main guitar solo, and then I'll play More Than a Feeling for algorithm. Listen to this solo. That's so good. And okay, so this is like their most popular song right here. It's called More Than a Feeling. This is like their most popular song. You guys have all probably heard this song. Excellent air guitar skills. Yeah, this is a good song, Sandra. Love this song. Yeah, this is a good song. Imagine spamming L because you have no argument. Boston is so underrated. They're like one of my favorite bands. They have such a unique sound. Such a big sound. Excellent guitar solos. Come back tomorrow, Real. Come back tomorrow, Real. Yeah, the vocals are amazing. Sad the singer killed himself. He's still in the chat feed, man. Come back tomorrow, Real. I'll bring you back up tomorrow. I'm done debating for the day. Like, to me, like, Boston is like rock and roll. Like, when you think about rock and roll, that's Boston. Just good old rock and roll. Anyone else notice Otter is the funniest one in the room? Otter is hilarious.
Forget the day.
This is another good one too. This is like one of my favorite Boston songs. It's called "Something About You." Do I have any mods in here, guys? Please block the spammers. Oh, mod G gigawatts. This is rock and roll right here. This is fucking rock and roll. Guys, if you have any questions, give me some questions in the comments. Not the Freebird. No, not Freebird. No Freebird. Why do I hate God? I don't believe in God, but the God character of the Bible is the villain. The character of the Bible, God, he's a bloodthirsty, violent psychopath. Freebird denied. That Smell is a really good song. This dude said I have 18 alternate accounts that you can't ban all of them. Can you play One by Metallica? I'm not a big Metallica fan. I'm not a big Metallica fan, but I do like this song by Black Sabbath. Metallica is the Nickelback of heavy metal. What time tomorrow? 2 o'clock Central Time. Careful, TikTok has been issuing copyright warnings. Okay. I'll make sure I look out for one. No, Eldon, this is Snowblind. Black Sabbath is one of my very first favorite bands. Me too. Me too. I discovered them when I was like 14, 15 years old, and they fucking blew me away. They blew my mind. I wish I could go back and listen to Black Sabbath for the first time again. The Paranoid album, unbelievable. Tony Iommi is like my all-time favorite guitarist. I think David Gilmour is my favorite guitarist. David Gilmour from Pink Floyd is my top favorite guitarist, but Tony Iommi is definitely right up there. He's amazing. And he's missing his fingertips. Tony Iommi is missing his fingertips. He wears little plastic pieces on his fingertips. That gives the guitar such a good sound, the tone that he has. This solo is so good. Yeah, after Sid left the band, David Gilmour was the best thing that happened to Pink Floyd. David Gilmour took Pink Floyd to a whole new level of success. But Roger Waters was like pretty much the main guy. You guys don't know about Pink Floyd. What do y'all know about Pink Floyd? Y'all don't know nothing about Pink Floyd. David Gilmour is the greatest guitarist of all time. He's so bluesy. His bluesy solos are just really just hit my that spot, you know, just the blues. God, when you hear Gilmour solos. Have you ever watched The Wall? Yeah, I watched The Wall. Yeah, the very early Pink Floyd sucks. They didn't get good until David Gilmour came. I don't like early Floyd. I don't like early Pink Floyd. I mean, they just didn't sound like they do, like I like them to sound when they, after Gilmour came along. See Emily play. You were in college when Dark Side of the Moon just came out? Dark Side of the Moon has got to be the greatest album of all time, right? What's up, Uncle Rory? Who let Uncle Rory in here? You've watched The Wall 50 times? Damn. I think one of my personal favorites is Shine On You, Crazy Diamond. That's like probably one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. So bluesy. Your dad heard Dark Side for the first time while flying on a chopper to Antarctica. Sweet. I remember getting blowed out to the song back in the day. I feel like I was born in the wrong era. I should have been born in the 50s and grew up in the 60s and 70s. If you like Sabbath, you will love Green Lung. Green Lung? Let me check. I'm gonna write it down. Green lung. What's up, Ryan? Yeah, this is a great song, Ryan. Really great song. Comfortably numb. This solo right here is just so amazing. It's so bluesy. Gilmore's the GOAT. Yeah, probably so, Eldon. I think so, Eldon, for sure. It's gotta be probably the best. I have a little violin. Little violin. All right, guys. I guess that's going to be the end of the live stream, the end of the Q&A. I had fun jamming out with you guys for a little while. Thanks for being here for the live stream. If you guys are just tuning in, this is the end of the live stream. I've been live for about 3.5 hours. But guys, I thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you guys. Love all you guys. Whether you love me, whether you hate me, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the gifts, and thank you guys for the donations on Cash App. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate you guys. You guys make this so fun to do. It's so fun seeing all you guys in the comments, all the familiar faces. Everyone, please follow each other. Please, everyone, follow everyone. All of you need to please following each other. Let's build the community up, guys. Build the community up, okay? This is my backup account, but follow me here, and also follow my main account, Skits&bits. It's suspended right now for a few days. And please, if you want to watch the full live stream, go follow me on YouTube. The link is in the bio. It'll take you straight to my YouTube. Go check out all my live streams on there. I got a ton of my full live streams on there. So I really appreciate you guys. I'm telling you, you guys are awesome. You make this so fun to do. And I'm glad that I can be entertaining for you guys, and I'm glad that you get joy out of watching. So thanks, guys. Thank you all so much. And if you guys follow Demi, me and Demi are going to be co-hosting a live tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock Eastern. So go make sure you tune in for that. Let's go show Demi some support. It's going to be on Demi's platform. My main account is suspended, so that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Demi is awesome. Demi is really cool guy. I love you too, Big T. Love you guys. W. Justin, Deconstruction Zone Justin is here. Thank you so much, Justin. W. Justin in the chat. Go follow. Go subscribe to Justin and follow his TikTok. And go check out his video with Planet Peterson. That was a really good video. I enjoyed that video. Also, guys, go buy Planet Peterson's book. The link is in his bio for the book, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions. I've read about 2 chapters so far. It tells you how to answer all the stupid questions about like evolution and the Big Bang and the word where the universe come from. He's very knowledgeable in science. So it's pretty good book. At the very back of the book, it tells you it lists all the fallacies and the definitions of the fallacies, and it gives an example of like every fallacy there is. So go check this book out if you guys want to. All right, guys. Peace out. Love you guys. For all the people who think this has been blasphemy, I'm glad it was blasphemy because it was a blast for me too. I had a lot of fun. See what I did there?